Welcome to Hot Takes, everybody. It is me, vaporwave curator, DJ, and personality Young Shiro, along with my co-host and good friend Skeleton Lipstick. Vaporwave is one of our favorite genres of music, and thus we have this independent electronic art and music talk show and podcast where we get to interface with the community, get the audience involved, and always meet a new face, a new and friendly face. And tonight we have, for our episode, a very special longtime friend of the show, one Vincent Van Gogh. Pioneer of Vaporwave Zero and half of VaporVA events, along with Roge Corp, Van Gogh exploded upon the scene with Loser's Landslide. And I don't remember when it came out, but I feel like it was like 2019. And he, along with some other people like Ahero and Simple Syrup and Luxury Noise, have been bringing a fresh new breaks in kind of like hip-hop and just more like club influenced, while also kind of like drawing a little bit from like chill wave, a fresh new sound to the vaporwave scene that we badly needed. So we're very excited to be able to talk with Van Gogh. He's a real sweetheart in person, and he really absolutely tore it up last weekend at Sanctuary Live. So everybody, of course, hopefully you're excited. If you are, be sure to repost and invite somebody to show up here with us tonight so we can get to know Van Gogh, right? Just a couple reminders. Please hold all questions to the top of the hour, because the first hour we get to know our guest, and then at the top of the hour, then we open it up to user submitted questions. Hot Takes is a no punching down zone. You can punch up. We actually encourage punching up, no punching down. No sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, or xenophobia is allowed on Hot Takes. So keep it kind. All hot takes are created equal, and we want to hear them. Just keep it kind. Now let's talk about the commands. Of course, we can use the exclamation point followed by a word that allows you to execute a command. For example, if you didn't watch or if you didn't see in the pre-roll, exclamation point Spotify lets you access all of our curated Spotify playlists. We have a new one curated by Christ of some of the pre-Vaporwave plunder phonics, like the books, the avalanches, some other good stuff. Yeah, it's a great playlist, Chris. Shout out Christ for curating. Enchanting. Yep.
You guys should all check it out immediately.
Definitely check it out. You can follow me and Skelly individually. I have actually gotten off of some social media platforms recently, but I'm still there. If you want to follow the Hot Takes Vapor socials, there's our link tree. Exclamation point shirt allows you to purchase a shirt designed by Bfant for the Vaporade live show that was curated by Quiz and Don McLennan. And then, of course, you are welcome to donate if the spirit moves you. All donations go towards equipment upgrades and commissioned art. So if you feel like you would like to donate, it would be much appreciated, but it is not mandatory. Along with exclamation point Discord, where you can join our server, join the community. A lot of friendships have been created, events executed, and just memorable moments created in our Discord server. We invite you to join. And then check out the comp, Hot Takes Volume 1, that we use to raise several $100s for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, along with a terrific selection of music from people on the show and people in the community. But there's more. Guess what? It's a new command, guys. Next episode is going to be our community vote episode, okay? You get to decide who's coming on the show, all right? So if you will hit exclamation point next, right? Because apparently exclamation point vote is taken. I couldn't use that. So exclamation point next, isn't that stupid? Will take you to a Google form. You'll have to log in with a Google account. I'm sorry. Just put in your username or your social media handle and put in who you want us to bring on the show. And then just keep it to one vote per person, please, and keep the answers serious. One last request. And it's escaped me. But one last thing. We were given 4 free download codes for the new Vaporwave pinball game that is on Steam right now. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a link for that. If you guys haven't seen that, the
Pretty
developer...
cool stuff, guys.
Yeah, let me link it. The developer created a Vaporwave-themed pinball game, and he gave us some codes that we can give out for free. So if you vote... Oh, maybe it was only 3. Damn. Well, if you vote, I'm going to randomly, and I promise it really will be random, I'm going to randomly DM people codes. If you already voted, it's okay. You're eligible. I remember the last thing I was going to say. take a look and make sure that the people have not already been on the show. Just Control F our YouTube, because people have been voting for Discoholic, Fiber, Equip. Y'all, they've already been on the show. Ronnie from Vaporspace has already been on the show.
We may bring them all back one day, too.
We can bring them back, but
we probably will bring them all back.
This is for new, fresh blood. So,
not yet.
Yeah. Thank you. So,
yes.
Exclamation point next. Go drop your vote, please, and I will be reaching out to you either tonight or tomorrow with a free download code if you are selected. So, to keep it rolling, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the show with a few recommendations, some albums that I've been banging lately. All these albums are by artists that start with the letter C, just to keep it fun. So, I'm going to start with the obvious, vaporwave, a vapor or vapor-adjacent recommendation, and if you haven't heard the new Cyan Blue, you already knew I was going to recommend it. It's called Cyanide. It's his third album on Business Casual. Guys, it's a meme at this point, but I love Cyan Blue. Yeah, he's hilarious. I think he's hilarious. He might be one of the best chop and loop type producers. Thanks, Lux, for the link. One of the best producers in the future funk and future funk adjacent scene, in my opinion. He's just great at finding source material, and he's great at chopping and looping. It's that simple. So if you want a party starter, Cyanide is a little tamer than some of his earlier albums, but tracks like Lapis Lazuli, I think is how that's pronounced, Violets Are Blue, Lapis Lazuli, and Straight Ahead, which was actually which was actually on Hot Takes Volume 1. Just terrific tracks. I recommend you guys check out Cyanide or Cyan Blue Cyanide, especially if you like future funk and just like vapor funk, just danceable stuff. And then the other recommendations I have are weird. So there's this guy, kind of a lo-fi, like breaks adjacent guy called Criminal. I don't know anything about him. All I know is like it's lo-fi, it's crunchy, it's battered, and it's like breaks adjacent. I don't even know how to classify Criminal's music. Lazuli. All right, Solo. I'm gonna take your word on that. It's pronounced Lazuli. Anyways, check out Criminal and his album Immutable. It's one of those things you just have to hear it. Very, very good. Yeah, man, it's very, very. It kind of reminds me of like Reset and Background. A lot of people like those guys. Some Ski Mask type vibes there. But the whole album is very it's very uniform in sound, and it's got just these synth pads that are just crusty and hazy, and I don't know. It's just fun, breaks adjacent, lo-fi music. Check out Immutable by Criminal. And then hot take, I'm going to shout out the new Symphony album. If you guys were not aware, Sewer Slut ended her project and rebirthed as a new project name called Symphony. And she may be problematic. She may have a storied history, but Sewer Slut's new project, Symphony, is incredibly mature. It's very atmospheric and very lush, and she basically reworked the famous album Draining Love Story, the atmospheric breakcore album that was released, I believe, on GeoLull, among other places. Really rough history, but her music is profoundly good, and I know sometimes it can sound like pots and pans falling down a set of stairs, but it's goddamn good, and it's epic, and it's just blistering and bombastic, and I can't describe how distressing it sounds. Check out Draining Love Story in the Eyes of Symphony by Symphony. It's a profoundly good rework. Just don't pay for it. Rip that shit. Don't give her your money. But anyways, that's what I got for you today. What do you have for our hot take tonight, Skelly?
Okay, so I'll try and keep it quick and simple. There was a recent hot take I made about complaining about the fact that people are kind of relying too much on YouTube for all their instructions on how to do things. And I thought that was kind of better, instead of always just looking for instructional videos on how to, for example, for lighting, for a photography, to how to set up your lights, to what luminescence to use, to what angles to use, or soft boxes to use, to instead sort of struggle through the process a little bit, figure it out, look at art that you like. If it's photography, go study some photographers that you enjoy, buy some of their art books, attempt to struggle through the process of creating it yourself, rather than immediately turning to a YouTube instructional video. Because the more that you just keep turning to these instructional videos, the more you kind of clone what they do, basically. But I think another thing that I'm getting concerned about is that, during my time on YouTube and instructional videos and Reddit, not just seeing stuff on how to set up something artistically, in a cookie cutter fashion, but also a lot of stuff that's just about marketing, that's just about getting yourself into the logarithm, that's just about doing this, that's just using words that irritate the shit out of me, like disrupt or arbitrage or the word content in general, right? Anything that is related to this content type media. And it's just, everyone is getting, or not everyone, but a lot of people seem to be getting so concerned about how things are marketed and how to get themselves some sort of publicity, and less about authenticity. And the farther you push yourself to market yourself, or to put yourself into this realm of pushing your media, you're not pushing your art anymore. The more you fall into this category, the less you have anything of value to push out there. You're losing your soul in this process. And at the end of the day, authenticity is really important. And we're getting a little bit too far away from that, because people are just trying to follow these instructional videos on how to push their products. And you should really be not thinking about how much trying to push your product, but trying to figure out how to get more in touch with your identity as an artist. And I really feel like that's a very important thing to do. So rather than be concerned about timetables or structures, or, whatever buzzword is being used right now to get your content out, or buying some course on how to market this, or you really should spend that time and just get in contact with who you are, focus on your art, and try to make more art and less content. I'm just going to keep it as simple as that, because the more that is going to be something that's going to make you stand out more than any other marketing tool is, in my opinion. That's it.
So would you say the same could be said of like touring versus writing? Because touring is kind of like,
that's interesting.
Touring is sort of like marketing, right? Like, so what should the ratio be of like musicians that tour versus like stay in the studio and write?
Oh my God, touring is still your art, right?
I realize it's kind of, it's not quite what you were talking about, but like,
I'm considering this sort of thing where you're just trying to, you're trying to create ads for this, or you're trying to, do like little breakdowns of like a day in the life for this, or, you're using templates all the time. Touring that's okay. Tour as much as
so it's outside that. I got you.
God bless anybody who tours. That's a very difficult process to go through. So I don't really think touring, I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, I wish more of our artist friends would tour. I wish that was feasible for them.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the sort of the stuff that's adjacent to art, the extra stuff that's just following templates that are very popular on short form media. You know what I mean? Like, the more that you just kind of follow these cookie cutter things like day in the life of this, or do this with me, it gets to the point where you're doing this thing that's sort of, it's faking that somebody knows you, but it's not. You're moving away from your authenticity. I would say do less. I'm trying to say people do less of that, if that's even possible.
Okay, I got you. I'm following you now.
You guys could tour more often. That would be amazing.
Good. Yeah.
I actually don't know what that ratio is. I'd love to talk to a touring musician to figure out how they balance that, actually.
Yeah, me too. Well, man, thank you for that. I guess we should see what our guest thinks about that, right? So everybody, if you're not a fan of Van Gogh already, you just haven't heard his music yet. You haven't seen him, speaking of touring, you haven't seen him perform yet. You haven't met him yet. He's delightful. He's very skilled. He has a lot of friends, and he, at the end of the day, is an inspiration to us all. And we're profoundly excited to bring him on the show. So Vincent Van Gogh, would you please go ahead and unmute yourself, sir? Wow. Hey, that's quite an intro. Welcome to the show, Van Gogh. Vaporwave. What do you think about what Skelly said about, advertising and promoting versus, creating?
You have to do it, but,
I've struggled with the same thing. I do think touring is a good thing for artists. It's, especially when you're a small artist, you're probably not going to make a lot of money. But if you have a good group of friends, always going to be a great time. And the one tour I went on with Simple Syrup Ahero was one of the highlights
I
my
remember
music
that
career.
one. It was a
I
great
remember
tour.
that. That was so much fun. Yeah, and Be Careful as well.
Oh yeah, Be Careful is such a sweetheart. He
Love
he
Yeah, he
it.
is.
actually helped us with
One of my
setting up
favorite.
that entire tour.
He did.
Be Careful. One of my favorite people ever. Be Careful.
Oh yeah, amazing person. And with promotion, you really have to just toe a fine line.
Mhm.
You have to get yourself out there, but not too much. You don't want to be annoying, but I
You
mean,
don't want to oversaturate. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, it's very easy to lose yourself in promotion and be not authentic at all. But I feel like if you space it out and if you're just true to yourself, it's a good tool for artists to get their name out there for sure.
Yeah, it's just a good. You be mindful when you're doing it. You know, I mean,
Fair.
everything you do is your statement as an artist, no matter how small.
Oh yeah, yeah for sure.
That's
All
a really
right.
good point.
Great, great. Well said, sir. Well said. So, Van Gogh, let's talk for a minute.
All right,
Let's
let's
talk for
talk.
2 hours, actually. Okay, so let me just start it off by asking you, what was the first music you remember connecting with? Because I'm kind of interested in your ascent. What was the first music that you remember
Me
really
too.
connecting with as a kid?
Okay, I have from the last episode with Quiz, I have a very similar backstory as Quiz.
Really?
Oh, that's wild.
Very similar.
Okay,
Like,
come on.
I really did not listen to music at all for a very long time. Like I didn't have a music collection. My parents didn't really have a music collection. I mean, my dad listened to a bit of jazz here and there. But I think the first piece of media that I ever had was a Numa CD
Oh my
that
God.
we listened
Really?
in the car over and over again.
Your first
Well, I just
music
heard Lux from the other room.
was meme related music. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Fascinating. What?
Yeah.
What?
That's
You just came
old
across
school.
it, like,
Ain't you a
on the
little
internet?
young for that?
Oh yeah, I'm a very young man. I'm in my early 20s, but that was what I had at the time. I also
Hashtag compliment.
Where do you go from Numa Numa? What happens
the
after that?
one real CD I had myself that I own myself was a Radio Disney CD that had like the Jonas Brothers
Yeah,
and the Land Down Under on it. It was a very weird mixture of pop music
that's
for sure.
that's
But that was
such
the
a weird
first CD.
introduction to music.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was great. I wish I still had it. I might be able to find it on eBay somewhere. I think my girlfriend found it for me. I might have to buy it.
Oh, that's sweet.
So sweet of her to have taken such an interest in
She's
your
a
history.
sweetheart.
Well, you must wait a second. So you must talk about this album a lot. Your girlfriend knows about it, even.
Oh yeah, no, that one piece of media that I had, the Radio Disney CD, I listened to it literally every night when I went to bed. I had to have some sort of media on.
That's fascinating because, like, you would think Radio Disney. All right, well, this is obviously it's a children's product. It's kind of silly, but when you're talking about that, there's like the Land Down Under song is on it. You're being exposed to the idea that there's a lot of different types of styles of music out there.
Oh yeah.
You're getting it through a very strange vector, but you're still receiving that information. So where do you go from the Radio Disney album?
Well, after that, I really just stuck to that for years, probably around 4 years.
Wow, it
Um,
had everything you needed.
yeah, that had all I needed, all the classics. From there, I think my first real awakening into music was middle school. I'd say middle school. I was involved in a lot of online communities. I watched a lot of YouTube. I think the first real opening for me was when Monster Cat first made their YouTube channel.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Pegboard
Monster
nerds.
Cat
Oh
is
yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely
Future-based
amazing.
music. I'm a big fan of the Monster Cat stuff. I used to listen to their YouTube channel a lot too as well. I always loved that. I mean, the first time I would hear their synthesizers, it's just like lightning. You know what I mean? Just these really like saw waves that just pierce everything. So that's like kind of a big jump.
Oh yeah.
So you really got into that. Was that what you stuck to for a while, or were you listening to anything else in addition to that?
Yeah, I was a real EDM fan. Like I found Monster Cat from this YouTube channel, Paperbat VG. He made a lot of Minecraft YouTube videos. I was big into Minecraft.
Dude,
You
Minecraft
might
is such a
have to
great
talk to
gateway drug to IDM
that's-
and
you know,
down
it's really-
tempo.
For
Oh,
sure. Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
interesting to talk because you're so young that you were inculcated in a lot of these YouTube online communities. So,
Oh, yeah.
so it was basically kind of through Minecraft that you started discovering the other music. And you're not the first person I've talked to around your age who said that. Actually, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if I bet a lot of people your age are probably getting into music through that when they were younger.
Oh,
So
easy.
we've gone to Monster Cat. Were you listening to anything else?
I listen to a lot of Skrillex. I
Of course,
listen
yes.
to a lot
Hard.
of Dead Mouse, a lot of electronic. That was really my electronic phase.
Did you get into
Badass.
any traditional rock music, or was it mostly just electronic for this time period?
Oh yeah, and going into high school, I listened to like Quiz. I listened to a lot of Metallica, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets.
Who,
I
can I
just
stop?
Nice.
loved it.
Who introduced you to metal music?
I think it was my brother. My brother, he used to always listen to a lot of rock, metal, emo, and I feel like that really just kind of rubbed off of me. I listened to a bit of IC Stars,
Nice.
a bit of emo phase. I had like a 1 week emo phase in high school, and then I kind of grew out of it.
I think that's right. I think it's required for everybody, particularly in your age bracket, to have at least a 1 week emo phase. At least that's like the
Oh, yeah.
It is.
for all people in your
You're
age
right.
bracket.
Oh yeah.
So you started listening to anything. When did it occur to you? When did you ever think you wanted to play music, or what didn't even occur to you at this point?
Oh yeah, no. As a kid, I always listened to the radio and like listen to a song and be like, they should have done this. I'm like, oh, that was.
Oh,
that was
I love that.
disappointing. They should have done
I
that.
would do that too. I'd be like, oh, why did they do the song that way? I love
No,
that you did
literally,
that.
I think that's really what brought like the producer mindset into my head at a very young age.
Yeah, I was about to say. So you were already kind of connecting with the idea that you would listen to things, and in your mind you would think, oh, if I did this song, I would do it this way. I would try and alter this. So you'd already kind of had that idea in your mind that you wanted to potentially be a producer.
Oh yeah.
So how old you're in high school right now when you're getting those thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing music for a while. It was more like the school band. Ever since like elementary, I was involved in the school band doing percussion, a lot of drums,
Yes.
a lot of
Percussionist.
xylophone.
Yes.
Yes.
Love
yes, I was a
percussion.
percussionist for a very long time.
Were you the
In
guy with
elementary-
all the little drums?
Oh yeah, no.
You were
In
the-
percussion, when you start, you mess with everything. You go
Okay.
from snare, you go to the big old bass drum, you go to the
Okay.
the gong, the
Okay.
xylophone. You have your hands in everything, really.
I got you.
So all right, so you already had this background in percussion, so then now you're going to try to get into music production. Do you remember when you first started doing it? What your first kind of music you made was like? What DAW you were using?
Oh yeah. I started off in high school making beats for my friends on good old cracked FL Studio. It's paid.
Nice.
I have a paid license now. Don't sue me, Image Line. But I had the cracked FL Studio. I had tons of viruses on my computer. Slow as shit. But I was making beats with my friends,
Yeah.
making rap songs, and we were just
You're
having
making
fun.
rap songs. You're making beats for your
Hard.
friends to rap.
Yeah, and I
Nice.
had a couple of raps on there as well. Those are
Oh,
long
really?
deleted and gone forever because they're very embarrassing. But
Darn.
that was my start, yeah. And as I was going, through my high school career, I was, this is kind of dystopian in a way, but I was driven by the Spotify algorithm. The
course.
Spotify algorithm really put me on to a lot of acts that I've heard before, but I didn't know who they really were. The George Clanton, Nmesh, Windows 96.
Oh, that's how you
Whitewoods.
discovered this?
Oh yeah, no. I first found Slide when I was walking around my neighborhood, skating around, and I was like, wow, this is good. This dude's probably around my age, right? This dude sounds about
Right.
my age.
Yeah, I could do this. Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I think there needs to be more music like this. And come pandemic time, that's when I really had nothing really else better to do than to take my music actually seriously. And, write some tracks.
That's interesting that
Very
that
cool.
you know what it is a really big thing when you kind of go from listening to stuff that has a lot of like maybe like corporate sponsorship behind it. It feels out of reach. Sometimes you listen to this other music that's pristinely produced. Everything is perfect on it, and it's like a Dead Mouse or a Skrillex. It's wonderful music. It's fantastic, but like you listen to that, you're like, well, how that almost feels out of reach. This is like there's clearly a whole team and a lot of money behind it. So really is like a big aha moment when you hear something like George's album. You know what I mean? Where you're like, this is well, it's authentic. You know what I mean? You can hear that in it, right? You can hear that this is a pretty personalized vision. That this guy is doing most of everything in it, and this is the sort of feeling I think that a lot of I know that maybe a lot of older people got when they maybe hear punk rock for the first time, and they're like, oh, they were so used to hearing all the rock bands on the radio stations that were so perfectly produced. Everything was done so beautifully, sounded good on every audio medium possible. And then you like hear this other thing. Oh, like, oh, this is these guitars. I could do that. I could maybe do this. This person is probably around my age, and I might. This isn't out of reach anymore. You know what I mean? So it sounds like you maybe had a similar moment when you heard vaporwave for the first time with George.
Oh yeah, no, vaporwave was really that DIY scene that kind of clicked with me. Is like, you know, maybe it's not that hard to actually make music. Like I made little beats here and there, but I used to think making music was literally impossible, and I still do. But you know, like it's really a process.
It's a complete process. So you heard Sly for the first time, and now it's pandemic time. Were you still using FL Studio at this time, or had you moved on to anything a different type of software, or what were you using?
Oh yeah, no, I'm still using FL Studio to this
Nice.
day. You
Nice.
know, I dabbled around in Ableton, but you know, I'm just so used to the FL Studio DAW. I kind of use it
Yes.
as like a canvas. I don't really use like, you know, like the sequencers or anything. I just throw shit on the DAW, move it around till it sounds good. And
That's
kind of been my
that's
process.
Nice.
exactly that's exactly how most of us do it. Can I ask you? Can I ask you what software since you were using on your first work?
Oh yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of Korg, synthesizers, M1. There's Wave Station on there,
Yeah, I thought
and
there was probably a wave station. Yeah, interesting.
of course, tons of samples. A lot of samples. Jungle Warfare. Went back when the Internet Archive still had all of the Jungle CDs. I
Oh,
ripped all of them.
I do. Yeah.
Terabytes of them, and that's just what I've been using ever since. You know, I used a bit of Splice here and there. You know, Splice is very useful as a beginning artist because it gives you kind of like the building blocks. But I don't like to rely on it too much because it is
Yeah,
kind of ubiquitous in a
that's
way.
exactly. Whenever I think of Splice, it's really good for up and coming artists, but you get a little bit like paranoid that how many other people are using this sample right here? Like how
Yep.
like when you because I've used Splice occasionally for drum beats and stuff, and like I'll always be like I better refresh this page a bunch of times because
Oh, how
you know the
funny.
first thing that pops up is I bet everybody else is using that little bit of a like you said it's ubiquitous, everybody's got it, it's everywhere. I still keep my membership though, but you know I always am very wary of like being very very careful when I want to pick something off of it, so I'm not doing something that is everywhere.
Oh yeah. And you know, I found a lot of George Clanton samples on Splice.
Oh,
The
really?
1993 drum pack on Splice has pretty much every drum loop on slide on there.
Wow.
Bruh.
With a mixture of of the Jungle CDs. There's some stuff on there as well. I've pretty much found almost every George Clanton
Oh,
sample, and
shit.
I don't want to be. I got called George Clanton sometimes,
George Clanton.
and and I sometimes find a George sample. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I won't use this. You know, I don't want to get sued by George. So
Oh,
maybe I'll.
imagine.
I don't think that would happen, but still, I see what you're saying. Well, like it's these artists that we discover that open up worlds to us. You know, they're a part of us. You know what I mean? They're one of the big things that inspire us, and that's. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, they don't like think about how many bands are out there that are inspired by Joy Division. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
how they maybe don't sound exactly like it, but they're reminiscent of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know. And the farther you move into your career, the more like it becomes distinctly you anyway, But everybody starts off trying to do what their heroes did, or their inspire or the people who inspire them did.
Exactly, and that's like one of the greatest ways and probably the easiest ways to learn how to make music. Just try to
Yes,
recreate your favorite artist. Try to steal from them. You know, the FL
exactly.
Studio, Ableton. There are so many AI splitters you can use. I even use these things nowadays. I listen to a song, I'm like, oh, I like that drum loop. I'm gonna steal it. You know,
Nice.
that's why
Nice.
I still classify myself as a vaporwave because I steal a lot of things, but I transform them at the same time. So,
Exactly.
like, I feel like, I mean, I'm not a big proponent of, like, AI, making entire albums out of AI. But, AI does have its benefits, and
I mean,
you
it
can
is a
do lot with
labor-saving
it.
device. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Good way of putting it. That's a
tool.
good way of putting it, Isaac. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
well, I'm
But,
sure
I
you
mean,
guys have always heard the, oh, well, I couldn't, you know, in order to play drums, I had to make my own drum skins, and in order to make my own drum skins, I had to raise a goat. So now I'm not drumming anymore. I'm raising goats now. You know, like.
There are some things that you can put a lot of effort into and some things where you can save time on. And for every artist, they're going to classify those things differently. Some artists do want to, raise the goat to make the drum skins. And some artists,
That's fair.
but that same artist who's raising the goat to make the drum skins might be using AI to, I don't know, get the fucking bell chimes. You know what I mean? And the person who's skidding the fucking, I don't know, rattlesnake to get the chimes in their music is using the AI splitter to get the goat skin drum. You know what I mean? So it really kind of comes down to that at the end of the day, right? Some depending on what you want to do, really. So you can use it like that. I think is fine.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, there's even some like some DAW instruments that use AI to create sounds. Like the name of it is escaping me right now, but there's the second iteration of this plugin that you can put in a sample and it tries to recreate it with AI, and it's absolutely
really?
amazing. George used it on his latest album with TV Girl, and it's absolutely incredible.
What is this accused? What is this again exactly? You can put in. Say that one more time. I'm sorry. Tell me.
Yeah. It's like this weird VST instrument that you can put a sound into it, and it tries to recreate it, and it's not like exactly like that.
So
but it's like
you recreate it and like it gives you.
That's kind of cool though. It's like auto tune.
Parameters on how it's made. It's made. Like it'll adjust the filter, the envelopes.
Wow.
Oh.
Yes. Someone in chat. Synplant 2.
Synplant 2.
Absolutely.
Or like whenever you hear like
then
MIDI versions of like harmonica or like a trumpet, it's like obviously it doesn't sound like a trumpet at all. But like it's still.
Cool. There's like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying like that could become a new Hallmark sound. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
so I can find any kind of sound I want from any song from any era, isolate that sound, put it in the Synplant, and it'll create the parameters to try and recreate it.
Yes, it tries to recreate it, but it's in a very digital, synthetic way.
I'm sure in its own way. I mean,
wow, Lux found a link to it. Shout out.
That's really fascinating. Well, you know what else about doing it that way is like you are not going to get the same sound. And then once you get it in there, you can adjust it yourself in the same way that we use presets. It's basically just creating a preset.
Oh yeah, no yeah, and there's another synth that I use quite a bit, and it's kind of defunct, but it has this randomized feature. If you've ever heard of Pilot Red Sun, they use it incredibly amount. It's called Tone Tude Firebird, and I use it a lot on my songs. And there's this randomized feature. Sometimes you get shit, absolute dog shit, but then sometimes you get real gold, and it's like it's such a unique sound. And like there's so many free plugins out there that you can create an entire album just with free plugins.
Yeah, for sure. There are so many options out there that it is really, it should be easier than ever to make yourself a unique artist because you have so many different options, so many different jumping off points, just every day, more and more and more. Let me ask you, when you were making your first, how did you decide on, what was the tipping point for you during quarantine where you're like, you know what, I'm really going to throw myself into this. I'm going to make an album. Was there anything in particular that like, did you make a particular song? And when you made that song, you're like, oh, this is the direction I want to go in.
Yeah. My life was quite shit at the time. That was another factor of me making music. Things weren't going well. My friends were kind of distant. People were kind of like, trying to, turn their back on me in some unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
It was absolutely one of the worst portions of my life, and I made the last song on Loser's Landslide, Take It, shit, I don't even know the name of my own songs. But the last song on Loser's Landslide was the first song I ever created, and you can tell it sounds very lo-fi. It's different from the rest of the album, but it's an absolutely incredible closer. And that was when I realized, okay, I think I have the blueprint for an album. So I kind of just went to work. I was schizophrenically, like hunched over on my keyboard making music, really late nights, 4 a.m. You know,
Wow.
that's just that
Too
was just my
cool.
process at the time. I was just
Yeah.
kind
You
of
would
like
hit where you
losing
want to go,
myself.
and you don't want to lose that momentum. I understand.
Oh yeah.
That's such a big moment when you're an artist and you get it. You
That
get it. You
lightning
kind
in a
of like
bottle
reach in and
moment.
you now like you've taken something inside yourself and you've put it into art. You're like, I've just communicated myself into this ambiguous medium called music. I just did it. Like, oh my God, whatever I did, I got to keep exploring that. And I can't stop. You know, when you're there, like, you don't want to get too far away from it. So you do find yourself schizophrenically hunched over your computer at 4 a.m. because you've just tapped into something inside yourself that you'd been searching for. And you don't want to lose it, and you want to refine it. You want to sculpt it while you still have it there, so you can do it again. You know what I mean? And you can keep doing it for a while, for a long time. So I totally understand that, and I think that I know that I've had moments like that. I think many artists have had moments like that. So it must have been a pretty exciting thing for you to start, you know, seeing the songs accumulate to the point that you like might be even reaching an album. That must have been a pretty exciting time, and maybe a big turnaround in your life too when you did that. I assume, yes.
Oh yeah, no, it was very therapeutic for me because it was
For sure.
kind of
I
like, you know,
bet.
channeling all those negative emotions into something that actually means something. You know,
Yeah.
when I released it, I never knew that people would actually like it. I was just like, you know, okay, I'm gonna just put this out there and, you know, see what happens.
Hey,
And you know, people really liked it.
let me ask you. That's true. Let me put that out. How did you know, you'd already heard George at this point. Were you listening to any other artists similar to George or within that scene, adjacent to George at the time?
Oh yeah, a lot of, you know, Mesh, Dream
Oh yeah.
Sequence was absolutely pivotal for me. You know, Take This was just like chef's kiss. We had, you know, Hawaii 94 Night Vision was
Oh gosh,
absolutely
Nice.
shout out
incredible.
Lee.
Love that
Incredible.
guy.
We need him
Love
back as
Hawaiian.
Hawaii 94.
We need him
It
back as
breaks
Hawaii
my heart.
94 as well. I agree completely, Mango. I agree completely.
Breaks my heart. You know, Blank Banshee Zero, Windows
Yes.
9600 Mornings. Just,
Oh,
you know,
so
the
you
Such a
the,
great
classics.
the
album.
logarithm drug you into all this, and you just kept pushing down that rabbit hole, basically.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh wow. When did you start getting involved in the actual, like, at what point does it turn from you, you know, knowing about these artists to being like, well, you know, if maybe I can get involved in this in some way beyond just a listener and beyond just making music for myself? Well, how did you find yourself getting involved in making friends and, you know, collaborating with artists and eventually even touring with them? How did you get into that category?
Well, you know, the turning point for me was the George Clanton fan club.
Mm,
No, I
I
met so many
remember.
people
not the
through
first
that.
person, my friend.
Absolutely incredible. It was the golden age during the pandemic. It was
Really good.
brimming with life, activity, absolutely incredible people. That's where I met, you know, Simple Syrup, Ahero. The
I
first
remember.
place where I really put myself out there was the Battle of the Bands event during the big stream. It was my
Yep,
first
when he would
Yes,
appearance.
play
I
people's
saw your
demos.
performance on that. Absolutely. How did
Yep.
you get involved in? Yeah, what made that? Let me ask you, because that must have been like a big deal for you to be like, all right, I'm gonna record myself and broadcast this. Because let me tell you, it's not an easy feat for any artist to figure out how to play live, let alone to play live in like a battle of the bands on one of your big inspirations stream. You know what I mean?
Oh
In
yeah.
fact, what was that like? Can you take
It
us through
was
that day?
it was nerve-wracking. Like I was
Yeah.
watching the stream sweating bullets.
I saw
And
your performance. I remember it.
yeah, no, it went really well. You know, it was, you know, one of my weaker performances. You know, it was my
Those
first
were your
time
first
doing things.
performances. Was it your first performance?
Yes, it was my first ever performance.
Your first
Love it.
performance was on that. Was that? Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's nerve wracking, my man.
it was incredible. And I got a few points here and there, and
Hey,
you know,
that's
it,
great.
it was really funny. You know, once the my performance ended, I was just like standing there because the recording was frozen, and they were just like, "Get him out of here! He's scaring me."
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah. I
I
remember
agree. I agree.
that.
But that's where a lot of my relationships in the scene really flourished.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, it
remember
was a
that
beautiful
performance.
time. I remember seeing you and the Hero and Simple Syrup's whips in the George Clanton fan club, and it was just beautiful watching you guys, grow and kind of interface with each other and get support and help you guys hone your craft.
For sure, for sure. Let me ask you, one of my things I also really like about you is that you kind of you keep in the spirit of vaporwave with kind of having a bit of an anonymous personality, not putting your face out there quite as much, keeping yourself hidden. What was the impetus behind that?
1 second. This mask is getting a little hot. Let me do some real quick.
Uh,
Oh yeah, so
Let me
that's
tell
a
you
lot
guys,
better.
we did not
oh
set that
my
up in advance.
god.
I did not know that was gonna happen.
Okay.
Oh, that
Nice.
was perfect.
Wow.
All right.
What a showman, people. What a showman. All right.
Someone
What was
clip
the
that.
impetus behind this?
So I mean, to be completely honest, my friend bought this mask, not this exact mask. I lost it a very long time ago on tour, but my friend just left this mask sitting in my room from
Wow.
Spirit Halloween. I was like, you know what? I'll take that. And there's actually a few artists that already use this mask. There's an Indonesian artist that our insights were actually melding for a while. That's why I had to change my name to add a 4 to it. An Indonesian pop star named V4NGOE, and they have millions of streams. They're
No
huge
way.
in Indonesia.
Whoa.
And there's also a goth wave artist as well.
What's it called?
It's escaping me. I'll probably find it like near the end of this episode, but
Yeah.
I know male tears were like, "Oh, are you this guy?" And I was like, "No." And they've been a part of the dark wave scene for a very long time. I've actually seen their vinyl in record stores.
Oh wow. All right.
Wow.
But,
Yeah,
But they wear that mask as well.
You do it with like you're like the straight white get up, with like all the clothes matching everything. Like you create like a real visual language for yourself with it.
Oh yeah. They kind of take this mask and they kind of like put paper mache on it, so it's a little bit different. But this isn't a unique mask at all. If you go on Google Images and search Hacker Man, I guarantee you'll see hundreds of images with this mask on Getty Images. But I like to have my mask on. It's a little mysterious. It's a little
I like that. I like the
brand.
fact that you're like, it's not even like a custom mask. It's one that you find in a lot of places. I think that adds to the anonymity. The fact that it is, to just revert back to your other word, ubiquitous, kind of actually makes it more mysterious. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No,
That's true.
So, okay, so now what about when you released your first album? What was that like for you to sort of start promoting it, to get it to record labels? Was that like an exciting moment for you? Did you feel like you really completed something? You really kind of cemented yourself as an artist in the scene? And in addition to that, you really kind of started gaining an idea of what your music is and how it sounds like? Was that a big moment for you?
Yeah, I was very nervous. And when I first submitted my album, some people were like, yeah, I mean, it's okay. So like when you work for years on a project as an artist, and then
you don't know the struggle, man.
And then they're like, yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, that kind of like takes that really hits you.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Well, people don't understand particularly people who are not, really musicians or themselves don't really always understand the process. You know what I mean? They don't get it. That like, particularly when like you're an independent artist, you're just doing this yourself. Like there's like, and you're not like even like a classically trained producer. You're not a classically trained musician. Like every bit of that music is you. Every struggle for every note frequency or every hook, like you had to like kick and scream and pull out of yourself to get it right. They have no idea how many like versions of that track that you threw away there are, or how many of the sleepless nights where you went to bed and felt like, did I just waste my whole night because I didn't do anything I liked on that track? I have to redo it tomorrow. They don't know that. You know what I mean? There's something very, very special about people who don't have that traditional background in music or in production, that's like every time you get something right, it's like such a win. You know what I mean? It's when I listen to music by people, and when it's their first album especially, like I try to understand and appreciate to go back to what we were talking about earlier, the authenticity behind every single sound that occurs on those tracks. You know what I mean? Like I understand the struggle, and that's kind of what makes it very beautiful and interesting on your album especially.
Oh yeah. No, it really was a lot of trial and error. And
I know what that's like. Yeah.
Even listening to it now, I'm like, damn, I should have done this, or damn, my vocals aren't good enough. There's a lot of imposter syndrome involved.
Those things that we think are imperfections are actually usually what makes it interesting, is what makes the art interesting, in my opinion. Who wants things that are too clean?
You got to leave in at least one imperfection.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you got no choice most of the time but to believe in certain
Yeah.
degree. You get to the point where
Mm.
you can't fix the
Yeah,
imperfections, and you're like, well,
seriously.
let me do other things around this imperfection right here. So can I ask you what about the decision to sing? Had you really done any singing prior to this? Was that a big deal? I mean, it's really tough to put your own vocals, and then particularly for your first album to have to like when you do vocals, it's not even just that you have to figure out how to sing or write lyrics. It's you now have to figure out how to carve room in the goddamn song to fit
Oh,
your vocals in,
True.
and that is one of the most frustrating tasks like ever.
oh yeah.
So
No,
you,
yeah. Yeah, especially like now, like I have so many songs that are so good and I have lyrics for them, but they're
yeah,
just so dense. I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna
you're like,
do
how
this?
am I gonna fit this in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No, I know.
hard.
People don't understand what a struggle that is when you do
Oh yeah.
vocals to be like, well, because like it just like when you sing, the human voice covers the spectrum of different frequencies that it needs to sit in. It's not like, oh, this is a pad and it's gonna be like a high pitched noise, so I'll just like I'll scoop down all the I'll shelf off all the low frequency. You can't do that with vocals. You just find
Oh yeah.
yourself like endlessly putting in those little valleys to be like, okay, go bring it down right here, but right, you know. So that must have been a particularly big struggle for you. Do you think you've gotten better at figuring out how to get your vocals in, or is it still always a struggle?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's always a struggle, but I've learned quite a bit. So,
Yeah,
like I've learned that simplicity can create complex songs.
that's
So
very well said.
if you keep it simple, there's always going to
Absolutely.
be room for vocals. But,
Honestly, I love when
Sure.
songs build, but sometimes just that main hook before all the extra shit gets added in is my favorite part. The
Yeah,
stripped
agreed.
down, straightforward part.
no, yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that I've been trying to like really focus on recently in my music. Good hooks. You got to hook the audience in first, and
Yup.
then you got to provide them with the actual substance
Yup.
until, you finally wrap up the last chorus, the
Yeah.
finito of the song, and then it kind of wraps up into a little bow. And you know, something that I've also been doing is I've been making a little bit of shorter songs. So, if you make a good song, a golden song that's short, people are gonna listen to it over. You're gonna have it on repeat over and
You gonna
over
repeat
again.
it. Yeah, I like
You gotta
that.
make brain bugs. I like to make brain bugs.
Nice.
I like that. I like the way you approach making music. I like how you talk about that. You definitely are putting a lot of thought into the schematics behind it, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to, and more, what most importantly, what you're trying to make people feel. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the emotion is the utmost importance for me when it comes to music. I always want to make people feel something and not go away with
Love
like, oh,
that.
cool song, but like I didn't really feel anything.
Yeah.
Like as an artist currently, I have so much music. I'm I'm currently working on 2 EPs and a full LP.
Wow.
So I'm currently building up more of an instrumental catalog. So, I've done the singy songy, and I'm going to do the singy songy on the next big LP. But I want to create more, songs to dance to and move your body to, but also have
Wow.
substance too. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of my focus currently.
Can I ask you what influence has playing live put on your songwriting process?
Oh yeah, no, playing live has really made me focus. The first song, the first live show I ever did, the Vaporwave Zero show in Chicago, I absolutely fucked up horribly. But when I look back at it, people were really having a good time. So I've playing live. I've figured out what songs are good live. Some songs, even though if you love them so much and you want to play them live, they're not going to be good live. They're not going to make people move. They're not going to keep interest.
Damn.
So like I've learned what people like to hear, and I'm kind of channeling more of that with these instrumental projects. With these, I'm trying to create more live material to build up, and once I get more, I don't like to think about people like how many people are listening to music, but at the same time, I'm trying to build more of like a fan base and a following before I actually release my next big thing because
Yeah.
I want it to really mean something, and I want people to hear it, and of course, I want to tour again. So I'm kind of keeping a balance between making music people like and making music that I like. And Frank Javsey, he really told me something that opened my eyes, that like he really just listens to what people like, and he kind of goes off
That's
that.
smart.
I'm not
Yeah.
really doing that 100%, but I'm kind of trying to blend the two together to make
Yeah.
stuff that people like that I also really like.
That's
So
sweet
I'm
stuff.
channeling a lot more of the club stuff. Fantasy 2, for example. I'm kind of really channeling that like dancey, like okay, trip hop, break adjacent music. That's what I'm really trying to lean into.
Nice.
Nice. Well said. Well said
That's
too.
what a
It's a
delightful
big
guy.
process.
That's great advice.
Oh, we love Frank. He's one of our favorites.
Absolutely.
He is.
Yeah. So I had a question. I can't remember. Well, anyway, can I ask you? Is there so you're working on? You said 2 EPs and 1 LP, maybe, right? Is there a big difference in the vibe or aesthetics on each one of these different records? Is that why you're separating them, or is there any particular reason why you're separating them into 2 EPs, 1 LP? Where are they all each one exploring different genres or different sounds?
Yeah, they're all connected in a way, but
Okay.
I don't want it to be cluttered. I don't want to have half of a LP or EP be this genre and then the next being another genre. I want it
Yeah.
to be cohesive experience. So,
Yeah.
I have an EP that's kind of like, George Clanton, Esprit, type, slower pace, kind of like Simple Syrup, Ahero, like music to love to. And then,
Oh,
I have a separate EP that's going to be more like music to dance to and
nice.
to, go crazy to. And that's kind of like what I'm separating it into. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I do want to combine both of them into one big taped physical release, kind of like
Oh,
an
that's
A
cool.
B side. That's kind of like my game plan with this stuff. And then I honestly already have the majority of my LP ready, but the thing is, like, I kind of circulate with my music. It's like, oh, all of these will go together, but then I make another batch of songs. They're like, okay, I don't like
Yeah.
these anymore. They have to be every single song that goes on a big LP. They
Yes.
have to be my favorite song ever,
That's
or else
really
they're just not making it.
Are you tough on yourself when you make music, or it sounds like you like really put a lot of work and maybe a lot of pressure on yourself too when you're making these tracks?
Oh yeah, no, honestly, too much pressure, and that's why it takes me so long to actually release music.
I don't
Like,
think it takes you that long. I think you're working at just a fine pace.
oh yeah, I appreciate that. And, as a young adult, I've been kind of like trying to balance things. Full-time job,
Yeah.
relationships,
Yeah.
family life. It's very hard to balance everything
But
as
yeah.
an individual.
Well, it's really hard. Here's the thing, and my heart goes out to you because you're in your early 20s right now, and it's really tough when you're young and you're like, I have to do as much now to cement myself into whatever music, art, etc. scene that I want to be in, so that like I have a foundation. Like it's really tough when you're at your age range and you're creating your foundation stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's so important. And then because like eventually you could say, okay, well I've done all this, I have a foundation. I'm known for this, this, and that, and I can at least like take it a little bit easier now. But I know that when you're first starting out, when you're young, it's like there's a lot of pressure on yourself to be like, okay, I got to do it now because this is like the first chapter is so important. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like I totally understand that.
and
But you're doing great. I think you've done so much considering your age and how long you've been involved. You know what I mean? It's a tremendous amount of output, tremendous amount of touring, and a lot of connections you made. So I think this next LP you're going to release is going to be fantastic. I think we're all probably looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm super excited, and it's gonna be a real love letter to the community because, this big old community is what really gives me passion in life. It all started with that first George Clanton Philly show at the First Unitarian.
Oh yeah, I
Holy
remember that.
shit!
Yep,
What a
I
sweaty
remember that. That was a
venue.
great show. Everybody was at that show too.
Is that the one that
crazy.
has the basement?
That
Oh
was
yeah.
the one. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Actually, how did you know that?
Because I've seen photos and it looks incredibly like claustrophobic, bro.
That is
Oh,
the
it's
longest
miserable.
running venue in Philadelphia. I have been
Wow.
going to shows there since I was.
I remember
14
you
years old,
talking
I think.
about that when you came and
I
played in
think since I was
Lexington. You were like,
14,
it's so
they've been doing
hot.
shows there.
What?
I saw Jimmy World in that fucking venue in
What?
in 2000
Wow.
when they were touring for Clarity.
That's really, really special.
Like,
That's really special.
I saw that, and that's the same venue. Nothing has changed, and there's still not a fucking air conditioning down there.
They need something. They need to change something over there.
Oh, it did not changed something in like 25 years. Nothing's changed.
So is it like fucking freezing cold in the winter as
No,
well?
It's hot. No, it's never.
It's just
cold.
hot all the time.
It's
Oh,
hot.
okay. So
It's
shows there in the
really
winter are
hot.
great, but in the summer it's like goddamn miserable.
No, it's
I
always
almost
hot
passed
down
out
there.
when I
Everybody was at
Bro.
that show, by the way. And then, yeah, everyone was at that show. That was crazy. It was a really fun time.
Yeah.
Okay, what was I talking about
Respect.
before that? I got distracted.
Well, we got time for a couple more questions.
All right, well, let's get one more here. All right, so Okay. Let's see. What's one really? What's changed in your music production technique or your approach to making music between when you first started and what you're doing now? Is there anything that's changed? Do you have a different organization? Are you better at this? Are you better at that? Like, what's really changed?
So much has changed.
Right.
On Loser's Landslide, I did not mix anything at all. I had no mixing. I just threw sounds on
Oh,
there
really? You didn't mix
and
anything?
hoped it worked. Yeah, I didn't know shit about mixing. So,
I
as
love
I've
that. I love when people
Yep.
go into this and they like don't know anything and they're like, "Fuck it, let's go. I'll make it work somehow."
You don't really need to know much, but
Not
like
really. You just need to want. You just need to want to do it.
like I really resonated with your view of, you don't want to watch YouTube tutorials for everything. You don't. But at the same time, I'm constantly watching YouTube tutorials.
Look, I say my official
Hey,
stance
man,
is struggle first. Don't just use that as your starting point. Start trying to do it, then get stuck in a spot, and then look up how to get out of that spot. Don't just immediately go for the tutorial before you even touch your DAW or whatever piece of art you're going to use. Like, start it, get stuck somewhere, and then go back. And you know what I mean? You won't lose yourself too much. You'll still have your original vision if you do it that way, I think.
Oh yeah. And
I'm looking at YouTube tutorial. I'm not fucking perfect. I'm doing it too.
Oh, yeah.
But I know you gotta find out how you balance that. Anyway, what we were talking about, what's the big thing that's changed in the music? What's something that's changed? Oh, you said that you're mixing now. That's one
Real
thing.
quick, I want to shout out a couple of YouTube channels. I need to put you all on game.
Hell
Sage
yeah.
Audio.
Sage Audio,
They
all right.
do a lot of shilling for their own products, but they're really good.
Yeah, you gotta make a list.
Your Music Sucks is absolutely crucial. They have a lot of good tutorials.
Interesting. Okay, gotcha. What else?
Just ask anyone in the scene. They will help you. They will give you feedback.
Good
Join
advice.
Discords. Do listen parties with Discord channels. Get feedback, but don't get feedback from your close friends because they'll always tell you, "Oh my God, it's so awesome, it's so cool, bro." It's
It's true. It's true. We
your-
love that too, but you're right. You want to get that honest feedback as well.
ask your critics. Ask people who hate you what's wrong with your music, and that's really critical
great.
because they will give you the most constructive criticism you will ever get, and maybe even more. I definitely have a lot of people who hate me in the scene, but I try to be as neutral as possible.
What? Oh,
Imagine.
Yeah, whatever, man. I got people that hate me too. Fuck them.
We all know the side of the scene we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, those guys don't matter. Who are they anyways?
Who? I don't even know who you're talking about. Anyway, you're really chill this Thursday.
Oh yeah, hey, pull up.
Pull up.
Hey, but
Anyway, go on.
I need to shout out some boys. Ahero,
Hard.
Simple Syrup,
Hard.
Heaven Sample,
Hard.
our boy Archangel in the chat. He's an up and comer. Keep an eye out for him. Vesna. We all know Vesna.
Vesna. I actually played a Vesna song earlier in the episode.
He's the goat from Belarus. He's the goat from
Shout out
Belarus.
Lux actually for putting me on.
I actually met Midnight Drift pretty recently. He's such a sweetheart.
He's great.
Gives me great feedback. There's so many people in this scene that you can reach out to, and they will give you everything that you need and more. Reach out to your neighbors.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid.
People have never been more accessible. Take advantage of that.
Sure, yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Gotta shout out my boy Roge Corp. Our I2K
Shout out
festival.
Roge Corp.
We love Roge Corp.
Running festivals is no easy task. I know why George is not doing it anymore.
Yeah, goddamn.
I can't believe you did it. I can't believe.
Yeah, I2K was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Anyone throwing events, I commend them. It's no easy task at all.
For sure.
That's a great way to segue into our very first guest question, if that is okay with all parties involved. Because Steven Savag just asked, talk to us about VaporVA and I2K. Shout out Savag H. What were the
parties Savag is doing? Oh my God,
he knows how to work a crowd. Very skilled guy.
He really does. That man is charismatic as fuck. I gotta get him up to Philadelphia for a terminally chill.
You got it. Yeah. A stage presence is important, and he has that figured out. But he wants to know, what were the challenges and risks of putting together a fest, and what tips would you have for people that want to put together an event or fest? Great question.
One word. money.
Oh shit.
I know, like, I
True.
don't like to think about money, but the first I2K, we spent way too much.
I was talking to Roge about that when
It
you
was
guys were
evident
up
because it was
on my-
very
for my-
polished.
Yeah, Van Gogh and Roge and Heaven Sample were all at my place for New Year's Eve, and I was talking to him about that.
Jealous.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, you don't want to spend too much money. You got to really think about what you can afford to do and, put your all into it. During I2K, I personally forfeited my performance money to all of the artists.
Oh wow, that's
I
generous,
do all that
buddy.
all that I can to pay the artists what they deserve, because
That's
I know myself,
respectable.
as an artist, I've been snubbed quite a few times. And only until recently I've been finally, getting a bit of compensation. I don't like to think about money, but if you fly out to all these
man,
cities,
you're putting a lot of work in, and you're spending your time
Yeah.
and energy.
it's not cheap.
You've got to
especially with-
eat.
Yeah,
Gotta
people have a
eat.
tendency when people are younger, they have a tendency to snub the younger guys for payments. It totally that happens all the time.
Oh yeah, and I paid the least amount. I don't want to get too much into financials, but I paid for the least amount of the first I2K more than I've ever gotten at any show. Period.
Wow.
I like to treat the artists well, and then that's because if you treat them well, they'll really keep you in high regard. They'll come back and they'll support you.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
You guys
Good.
you guys did treat us remarkably well, and I appreciate that from you and Roge.
Of course, and you really have to keep in mind, promotion is not cheap.
No, it's not.
Shirts, posters. I mean,
Oh, those
you can do a
shirts
lot
are
of free
terrific
ads.
too. I have the pink
Oh, yeah.
version of the one you're wearing right now.
Oh yeah, it's an absolutely phenomenal shirt. We're gonna do this
It
again.
is.
But
Good.
Buy
There's a lot
merch,
of
guys.
ways.
Buy merch at these things.
Yeah, buy the
Please
merch. It goes
And I
so
just saw
far.
Roche in the chat here say, yeah, and they made money off the t-shirt sale. So please, they're wonderful.
They're great shirts, too.
memorabilia.
They're really tough.
We've been saying this for years, that people make their money off merch, and it's just such. I mean, what's cooler than a shirt from a festival or from your band, your friend's band? It's the coolest thing
And
ever.
don't
It's
worry
wearable
about
art.
buying Malort.
It's
Nobody
perfect.
wants that shit.
Malort is fucking disgusting, but I will still drink it.
Malort is not great. I had that in Chicago.
Oh, motor oil. But I mean,
Motor oil.
when you think about it, there's a lot of free ways to advertise as well. There's local Instagram pages that are, always down to collaborate. There's college radio stations. College radio stations are really
Yes.
underutilized.
Yes.
Good idea.
Listen to them.
Well said, buddy.
And you really have to think outside of the box, because Facebook, Instagram marketing is always going to work. But,
I'll
you
never
gotta put
forget
it
when we went to
out.
our local radio station. They said, "So is it V4NGOE? How do you?" And we were like, "It's Van Gogh. It's Van Gogh."
V4NGOE.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
always
shout
deal
out
with that.
college radio stations.
V4NGOE, you know how it is.
I think there was a 3 at one point or a 0. I don't know, but we were like, "It's just Van Gogh."
Oh yeah.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, but you were right about the free ways. The college radio, putting up flyers in coffee shops at skate parks and shit. Absolutely done.
Oh yeah. Crucial.
We got a couple more questions in chat if you're okay with us rolling into another one. And guys, keep them coming. We got a whole 55 minutes left of time. The first question I have is from Puff and Bill Grooves. He wants to know, you referred to the last episode and mentioned Metallica. In that same vein, what's your take on Linkin Park?
I fuck with Linkin Park. I've listened to them all throughout my childhood. I appreciate them. I listen more to Green Day.
Hell
Actually.
yeah! All right.
Yep.
Linkin Park.
But Linkin Park has been absolute icons. Minutes to Midnight, Hybrid Theory. Absolute goats in this. In the punk rock scene. Gotta tip your hat to them.
Call that punk rock music, exactly. All right.
Next
question.
Next question.
Discussion of Linkin Park. Next question.
Yeah, Skelly put up with enough Linkin Park last episode.
And now, can we go one hot takes without talking about Linkin Park? Come on.
Arctic
Please.
Contact. Hey, Van Gogh, as a newer vaporwave artist who definitely found their niche and group, do you feel like that happened pretty quickly and organically, or did it feel like an uphill battle reaching the place you currently are?
At first it did feel like an uphill battle, but it was very organic for me because I was just being a genuine individual. If you're just genuine, You go out to events, you talk to people, you make friends. It's just gonna happen. You know, that's how you make connections. That's how a lot of people in the music industry make connections. You just have to, know people, be a genuine human being, and it's just gonna work out for you.
Absolutely. Kindness goes a long way. Sometimes you have to advocate for yourself and throw your weight around, but you really shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the right person to talk to for advice on that, but I feel like you shouldn't lead with that,
We all know a certain individual who's just like that.
There's a few. I mean, at the end of the day, we may not be thinking of the same people, but leading with kindness is just treat people the way you want to be treated, bro. Like, treat people like a neighbor,
Exactly.
Hot take. It's pretty easy.
Hot take.
Love that
Don't
for
go to
you.
a festival. Don't go to a festival and ask someone how they can make things work for them.
Damn, son.
That's a good way of
Yeah,
putting
true. Man, at the end of the day, I mean, I get it. You want to be platformed. You want to be put on a stage. I mean, chances are we want you there too, but there's a time and a place.
There's a lot of ingenuous people who try to, shove themselves into a scene, and, it really just backfires. You have to be genuine. You have to be passionate, and you have to, love the people in the scene. You really do.
Sometimes
for
you have to
sure.
stay discreet as well.
Hey.
All right,
good
next
catch.
question.
Nice
Archangel. You like that? You liking that one? Archangel, what's a track of yours that means the most to you personally?
I think both Take It and Feel It off of Loser's Landslide really do mean a lot to me, because those represented a really low point, and it was really just a very raw and pure expression of myself and my individual personality.
Love that.
Cool.
Very cool. Check those out for sure. If you guys want raw and what's the word that Vitesse used? Just genuine.
Oh,
You want that? Check that out. Steven Savag, what artists or genres have you been listening to this week?
All right, let's see. I've been listening to ASAP Rocky, Yin Yang Twins,
Nice.
Outcast, and Games. Games is really good.
Ooh.
Check them
games.
out.
Like Ford and Lopatin games?
Lopatin collaboration, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
Phenomenal.
Love that out. Love that EP.
Excellent choice. Terrific. Love it when people. I know that this is really common in Roge Corp's Island Discord and Saturn Food. But people will post their like last.fm grid, and that's pretty cool. Great question,
use that
Solo
more.
Dolo. Yeah, me too. I don't Scrabble ever. I mean, I maybe back in the day, but Solo Dolo wants to know if it is one thing you could change about the scene, what would it be and why?
One thing I can change about the scene, better labels. There are quite a few labels
Damn.
that take advantage of the artists.
Yeah.
I don't want to point any fingers, but one release I was paid in tapes. I was paid
really?
in
Damn.
tapes of my release, and I sold them all on my tour, thankfully,
Yeah.
fairly quickly. Mainly at my first show of the tour, actually in Rhode Island.
That's
Oh, wow.
hard.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of artists really have to advocate for themselves more. Go for labels that actually care about you. Go to Business Casual, go to Stratford Court. Even
Shout out Stratford Court, absolutely.
Yep, great
Even-
labels.
even Bogus Collective. It's always great.
Yeah,
to
shout out
start
Bogus Collective.
small.
Twin Pines, my favorite.
Always great to start small.
Who runs Bogus Collective again? I know it's a homie.
Isn't that the Twin?
Is it? Yeah, Twin Pines Mall? Okay.
Yeah.
If it's not Twins by Mall, I'm going to be really embarrassed. Yep. Hell yeah. I agree with you, buddy. Great question from Hydroplane into a False Reality. Any tips for chopping up samples?
Oh yeah. Okay. So what I usually do with chopping up samples is I find my favorite part of the song, and I pitch it up and down to whatever I want it to be, and then I get like a drum pad. I have a Machine Micro little drum pad. Split
Nice.
it up into a slicer and just play around, have fun. It's really like a playground to me. I really just press pads until I find like, ooh, this is a really cool pattern. Just really have fun with it and let your imagination really just take the wheel.
Cool.
Damn, that's a great soundbite. I hope
Great,
somebody
yeah.
clips that.
That's
Well
a good
said.
One.
Clip that, chat. Clip that.
Yeah,
Clip
clip
that.
that shit. Okay, so keep the questions coming, guys. I'm gonna pull one out of my hat. Outside of the vaporwave scene. All right. No familiar names. Who is the biggest? Let's see. All right. Okay. Actually, scratch that. Reverse it. No names. It can be in the vaporwave scene. Actually, what is the biggest source of drama? I want you to describe them. Don't want you to name them.
Well, I've kind of previously referenced them, but there is a certain individual/individuals, but probably mainly just the individual, who really is trying to shove their way into the scene. They do these little events that are a rave,
Okay.
that it's really just ingenuous. Every time I see that, I don't like to punch down, but I think I'm really punching up because I feel like they have a lot more money than I do. You see their shows and they're really just like not even looking at the stage. They're just like looking at other people, not really having a good time.
Oh damn.
You know, they're like, oh, I sold 200 tickets for this venue. Oh, but it's a free show, right? So, you know, they're not coming to see you. They're coming to get some drinks. They're coming to get some drinks and have fun with their friends. And, you know, I've seen this individual on Reddit. I have the receipts. I literally have a whole dossier. I have a whole dossier.
A dossier. Holy shit.
A dossier.
God damn.
Of this individual on Reddit, complaining on Reddit, like, oh, I like these guys. They don't want me to have on their stuff, and like, I really want to like go on, but like I don't know what's going on. And then people in the Reddit comments being like, wow, like, dude, you're so fucking stupid. Like, no wonder people don't want you in their scene. And
Damn.
like, and then I found more of their Reddit comments of them being like, you know, fuck, like Islamophobic, like
what?
like homophobic, and it's
Yeah,
just
we
like,
can't
oh
have
yeah,
that.
yeah, you
Jesus
don't have
Christ.
a place in the scene. You really don't.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
Damn,
And, you
that's
know,
sad to hear.
yeah,
Most
really.
recently, that individual paid money to play a show at a convention, and that's just the most pitiful thing I've ever heard in my life.
Very pitiful.
Wow.
I'll keep it at that.
I mean, that makes me a
Or-
little sad. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why one would do that, but you know, hey, it
Oh, yeah.
ain't me, so.
Okay, KJ Valiant, Reddit does not have a place in the scene. Every time we
Reddit
post
does-
anything on r/vaporwave, they're like, who are these people? Oh, this isn't
Uh-huh.
vaporwave enough. Oh, this poster isn't Fruitavero enough.
I
Anyway.
don't see any Fiji water bottles or Arizona iced tea. Like, their idea of vaporwave ended with Young Lean, dude. We have a deluge of questions. Sorry for asking such a rager, but thank you. Archangel with another good one. What is your favorite VST or synth at the moment?
Ooh, I'd say M1 is my go-to, my baby girl. I have
M1,
actually
nice.
Heaven Sample actually sold me a Rompler of the majority of the M1 sounds.
Shout
it's
out
Sample's
Evan
so
Sample.
damn cool.
Shout out Evan Sample.
It's a Korg NS5R, and you know, if you're ever in the market for a cool little Rompler, it has a plethora of amazing sounds. You just have to have a MIDI keyboard and some cables, but absolutely incredible. One thing that I do wish that would happen is that the Spotify Vaporwave editor come back from life, get hired again, because
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
as an artist, and as a DIY artist in the Vaporwave scene, at this point, you're not gonna get anything on a Spotify playlist.
Is it even
Spotify is
updated
so
anymore?
broken. Spotify is so broken. They're like, oh, AI is gonna update the playlist.
Oh yeah.
yada, yada.
Well,
it does.
they're
no,
just
it doesn't.
scraping people's art and just making their own like fake artist songs.
Yep, the fake
Oh,
AI
that
artist,
Shiro, I know.
absolutely awful.
Damn. Yeah. Facts.
Buy T-shirts.
Buy
Buy the t-shirts. Go on Bandcamp. support
don't
the
pay
artist.
to play
t-shirts. That's
events.
I gotta make some T-shirts. Seriously, buy T-shirts.
Yeah, you do.
guys.
Even I have
Never-
T-shirts, but I only made like 10.
Never, as an artist, never pay to play a show. That is the worst trap that you will ever find as an artist.
Yeah, it's like Battle of the Bands things or whatever.
Do not.
Frezwave would like to know what's the
Correct.
best Taco Bell menu item.
Good question.
Oh, Frezwave.
You heard it on Hot
Shout out to
Takes.
Frezwave. We need to people need to give more love to Frezwave. Absolute icon.
Frezwave
in the
has
scene.
immaculate taste.
They really do.
Absolutely
Every time they
incredible.
post
They're
anything, I'm like,
fantastic.
damn, you have good taste.
They're
Yeah,
like
for
they're
real.
like the love child of 18 Karat Affair and
Mhm.
every vaporwave artist. They're absolutely incredible. But my go-to Taco Bell order is 2 Doritos Locos Tacos.
Good. I like it. Good
Nice.
choice. Making
Arctic
me hungry.
Contact would like to know, do you ever play your music for any of your friends who aren't familiar with Vaporwave without revealing
yeah.
that it's you?
What do they think of that?
Yeah, you know, I do play my songs to my friends sometimes in the background, but they always know it's me. It's quite hard to
You
hide
can
it.
tell.
But
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it because of the singing, or
I mean it's
you just can't keep a
multiple
straight
things.
face while you're playing it?
Yeah, no, yeah.
You'd be like,
it's
damn,
hard.
this part of the song sure is cool, huh, guys?
Yeah, I'm always like, guys, listen.
What's going on
listen to
here?
this part.
Check this
That was
out.
gas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Also, shout out to That's Matt. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, that guy's
absolute
great.
fucking legend.
Some of their posts on the Instagram.
That's
pretty
Matt.
dope stuff.
Is also very, very good at chopping and looping, and he has a hell of a stage
Incredible.
presence too. And he's so sweet. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
dude.
think of anything bad to say about That's Matt.
Oh yeah. Also, something that I forgot to mention of my upbringing in music. Justice was huge for me.
Oh, you,
Oh my,
that
Justice
is a
was.
big one. That you
Yeah.
heard that album? That must have been like, holy shit!
I saw them live at the Anthem recently, and it was
That's
everything.
Oh
pretty
my
cool.
god, I bet that was incredible. I missed
it
the
was-
rap score.
Absolutely incredible. If you ever have the chance to see Justice live, please do it.
You know, for whatever reason, at the time, this is so terrible, but I was not a fan of Cross when it came out. Couldn't
How about
tell
now?
you why. I know. I've since seen the light.
Alright. Nice.
When it
That's
came
all
out,
that
I was
matters.
like, nah. But, you know, obviously it grew on me.
I've
Just
never
had to
even
let
heard
that
of
one
it.
out, you know. Sometimes you're wrong. That's why
So-
I listen to
I've been
every
there
album
before.
twice.
Been there before, my friend. Been there before. We all have.
Do you guys do that, by the way? I listen to every
What?
album twice.
Oh yeah.
Because
Definitely.
if I like it the
No.
first time, maybe I was just
I would-
drunk or something. You know?
Oh, yeah,
Or,
I
like,
do that.
Maybe I
didn't
will like
realize.
it more the second time if it didn't really like. Sometimes Lux will walk by my office and be like, "What are you listening? Why are you listening to that?" And I'm like, "You know, it might grow on me. I don't want to miss
Sometimes I
something
do that with
good."
an album I really like too. Like I really like
Yeah.
it the first time. I kind of be like, wait, was I just too caught up in one particular song, and that I thought this whole album was brilliant? I should probably go back to it again now that I've sat with it for a moment. I can the luster has kind of gone away a little bit. I can examine it again, see what I really
Yeah.
think. I do. Those-
I had to watch the Minecraft movie 4 times before I really
Bro.
appreciated the artist.
Okay, fair.
It's-
You got me,
Chicken Jockey, are you fucking kidding me? Cinema.
bruh.
Kino.
Sorry, Kino. I got distracted. Mods, please punish Puff and Bill Grooves for suggesting that I would listen to electro swing albums ever, much less twice. I don't care who does it. Midnight Drift with a great question. What has been the most memorable part of your year so far? Good and bad. And how can you top it or make sure it doesn't happen again?
I think the most embarrassing thing I ever did was my first Vaporwave Zero show in Chicago at Dad's. The entire show, I had my underwear showing because it was tucked into my shirt the whole show. I didn't even realize.
Well, we know it was
and-
white.
Yeah. No, it was actually gray.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But because I soiled myself a little bit, but
Felt. Dads
Yeah,
be
you
like
know,
that.
I've learned a lot. I've learned that you really have to prepare when it comes to live shows. So I've put a lot more effort in, a lot more, you know, intention into my actual live performances, and I've learned quite a bit.
It's hard to know how to do these things live, and it just like I always find that like it's always different. You know, maybe I did something this way, and the next time it's like a completely different setup. Or, you know, it's what is one of the most difficult things you find with. I know it's not my turn to ask questions, but I want to ask just in general. I think a lot of people would want to know as well. What is the most difficult thing you find in preparing for a live show?
The most difficult part is to figure out how I'm gonna actually play it. You know, there's so many things you can do,
Yeah.
and a thing that I really trapped myself early on was making my live sets too complicated to the point where I couldn't really focus on the vocals.
Oh,
And you know, you really have to draw a fine line because if you're gonna be performing, if you're gonna have a stage presence, you're gonna have to have some songs where you just press a button and it plays.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong
you're
with
not wrong. You can't just be like locked in and not
can't play everything,
moving
man.
around.
Yep. And you know, learning how to DJ recently has really put that into perspective because you not only have to have really good track selection, but you have to, you know, move the crowd. You know, you can't just be looking down at your controller the whole time.
No, it is all about, controlling the audience and moving them with you along the journey that you're taking them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, Puffin Bill Grooves, who is in trouble right now, but I'm still going to ask it. How do you or do you not organize your creative process and workflows?
I don't. I have multiple workflows. I kind of just do what I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm gonna fuck with some samples. Sometimes I'm gonna make a whole synthesizer patch. You know, I really just go with the flow and what I'm feeling at the time. So a lot of the time, sometimes I just start with little vocal hooks. It's really a variety of things that I start with.
Love that.
Yeah,
Very
good
free
answer.
form. Like you don't tie yourself down. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Hydroplane into a false reality. What VST do you want to hear less in vaporwave?
Oh, that's an interesting question. That's a difficult one too, actually.
Well, not really a VST, but just samples in general. I want to hear less barber beats and more
Same.
future funk. I don't really like future funk, but future funk methodology where you really deconstruct a sample and really play with it and make it something entirely new. I
Like the Nmesh
really like
method.
that. Yeah, the Nmesh method. I don't like barber beats. You know, it's a cool little vibe to listen to when you're at work, but other than that, there's no substance at all.
Ooh, shots fired.
I mean, listen, man. I'm sorry, but I've gone on record saying Barber Beats is the lo-fi hip hop beats to relax/study to of vaporwave.
Exactly.
Shots fired again.
It just
That's-
is, and I gave it so many chances. It just is.
Yeah, I make recommendations of stupid albums. You ever check out the ones I recommended?
Next question.
I didn't think so, sir. I've
You
done
got me.
so
I'm
many
sorry.
racks for
I'm
Barber
sorry.
Beats that I think you were like,
I'm
and then I just do so much
sorry.
shit if I don't do his racks. But
Uh,
I've done many
I'm
racks
I
so-
could
about
make a Barber Beats album in 1
So
hour.
on
and make $1 million.
record, I've
Okay,
done
I'm gonna go to the
several.
I'm gonna go to the
Pretty good.
Discord and like Control
Why
F
don't you go
all of
back,
Skelly's
look at my
recs.
racks, Isaac. Go do your homework.
I will do
I
it.
don't like
I
this
really
shit. I
will.
don't like to shit
But
on
I've
people's
given it
music.
so many chances.
You didn't give any of my shots. I've done it many times.
If you make
I don't-
Barber Beats, I will rescind everything I've just said.
If you make Barber Beats, I will kill you.
Get Isaac off the hot
Yep,
seat.
it's a subject. I will send you to federal prison if you make Barber Beats.
Watch out.
Me
Yeah,
or him?
you,
Him.
both of you.
Me? I'm not gonna make Barbies. I'm not good at
Yes.
that. I'm good at vaporwave. I'm not good
All right,
at
I'm
vaporwave.
just
all right,
kidding.
Skelly, it's time to make a collaborative.
He goes,
Barber
"It's
Beats
on."
album.
Actually,
Hell
the
yeah,
Ahero
I'll
and
do
Sample
collaborative,
Syrup album is
yeah,
going to be
alright,
Barber
we'll
Beats.
figure it out. I'll do a collab Barber Beats song with Van Gogh. That sounds fun, right?
Let's do it. I mean,
Hey, okay.
I
I'm
mean,
down.
technically, Simple Syrup is Barber Beats, but he's not. He's not at all. He
Mm.
makes almost all of his songs in GarageBand, purely
What?
sample based. He makes all of his songs in
GarageBand?
GarageBand.
This guy,
That's crazy.
this man is tarnishing. Straight tarnishing.
That's
No,
really
it's
hard
not.
To make
It's-
something good in Barber. In
It's
garage.
not tarnishing. It is.
No,
it
that's
is
a
compliment.
That's a compliment. Isaac,
Oh, yeah.
it's really tough to make
All
something
of the stuff
good
Sample
in
Syrup makes
garage.
is samples?
Like, I don't
There's
know how
no
he's good at
way.
that. That's true.
I mean, there's a couple like pads in here and there, but you know what? He does. I mean, a lot of the pads, they're just from like synthesizer demos on YouTube. A lot of
Yeah.
the stuff is purely
What?
sample based.
That's crazy.
Well, now I'm going to sound like a shithead for saying
a great-
tarnishing, but it's. I
Oh,
had
no,
no
you're not
idea.
a
Like,
producer. I
what?
don't know, but that's not. No points deducted on my opinion.
He
for
is
you.
an absolute mad scientist.
He really
I-
is, man. I'm so glad to hear that he's coming back.
Glad he's
Oh,
back.
All right, back with
Well,
back
I'm
with
going to
a
stop while I'm
vengeance.
ahead. And
Alright, next.
I will now humbly request more questions in chat for Van Gogh. Until then, I would like to know which music genre is your favorite.
Anything that is released on the internet.
Internet music. Got it. Good answer.
Yep,
Do you mean like internet-based music, or?
He's skirting the answer.
I was gonna say, are you joking?
Yeah.
Anything
Doing a little
that is
joshing?
Do it yourself on the internet. I love.
Okay.
You know,
That's a good way of
anything
narrowing
that
it
has
down.
Okay.
has
Yeah.
soul.
Yes.
Sorry
And
to
also-
pry.
Also Memphis rap. Memphis rap.
Memphis
I love
rap
Project.
is
Nice.
badass.
That's
I
true.
need to
That's a
get
good
more
answer.
into it because I love the stuff that samples it. So I need to find the original source material. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I finally listened to the one Gangsta Gold song, the Glock Tight song, and I was like, all right, like, yeah, smoked out Glock Tight, like, this is cool, you know. I need to get into more of it.
Classic.
Cool.
Which music genre is the worst?
Did you just say barber beats?
He did.
But wait, you have another answer?
Christian rock.
Christian rock.
In rock. All right.
Like, any specific type of Christian rock, or just like all Christian rock, all Christian music that uses guitars, bass, and drums?
The majority. Sometimes I hear like a good beat on the radio. I'm like, damn, this is actually cool. And then they're like, Jesus. I'm like,
I actually kind of like some of the
Oh my
Christian vaporwave acts. You ever listen?
There's
to
Christian vaporwave?
Oh, there is.
Wow.
Go to Catholic vaporwave artist Wafers 3D.
Oh, well, I
3D.
mean,
Yep, based in Richmond.
You know him too. I think his stuff is dope. Honestly,
Absolutely incredible.
Well,
you like him? All right, I'm not.
I
crazy.
could see why the Catholic
Cool.
stuff would resonate with you. I mean,
No, but it's like, well, our buddy Geo Metro, I found out about them through him, and I think their stuff is really dope. And like he does it like, it's got a sense. He has a sense of irony about himself. He knows what he's doing. He makes kind of very interesting stuff. It's pretty good. His albums are pretty good. I like him. I follow him on Instagram, and I'm always a big fan of his stuff. Actually, we should get him on the show.
Oh, get him on. I mean,
you know
that
what,
was
man? I mean, I'm definitely interested in having a Christian vaporwave artist on the show.
I would love
grew
to
up.
get Wave-
I mean, we
Wavers
both
3D
grew.
is good.
Skelly,
He's
you
got,
grew
like,
up
a great
Catholic,
sense of
right?
aesthetics and like a great sense of irony too. Like it's good. It's good music. It's good art in general.
I believe it. And you know, I grew up Protestant, evangelical. You grew up Catholic. I mean, it's not like we won't know what he's talking about, you know.
No, I mean it's funny the way he approaches it too. It's just funny. It's just interesting to see the approach and see like, well, I can actually see like the idea, like the existential dread and religion combining together in a vaporwave artist exploring his existential dread and his religion through vaporwave. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I actually went to.
Let's get Wafers 3D on.
Yeah,
All right, maybe not. Maybe for
I've
next
never heard
season.
his work. I should check it out.
Check him out.
Oh, is
I'll
it
send
Barber
you-
Beats? Hang on. Just kidding.
It's not Barber Beats.
Not Barber
It's
Beats.
not Barber Beats. You'll like it. Actually. You'll like.
I actually went to a Catholic school for a while, and that's one of my inspirations for Holy Spirit soundtrack, my latest EP.
Really? Fascinating.
That makes sense. Okay. Love that. Respect that.
Oh yeah.
Question from Puffin Bill Grooves. Boy, with the questions today. Thanks for reminding us. We like to ask occasionally if you would rank these three things in the order of importance: album art, album name, and track names. That's album art, album name, track names.
I would say that exact order. Album art is what's going to draw in the crowd. You know, if you have good album art, it's going to intrigue people. And then if you have a cool album title, that's even, it has to mesh with the actual, album art. It has to create an experience, it has to create a vibe.
Yes.
And then
I agree.
The track titles don't really, it has to, reflect the actual album title, but I think the actual music is way more important.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the big impetus or the big the big impulse is to go for album art as your first answer for this, and it's hard to argue with that. But it's true. At the end of the day, it's your music. You're not necessarily that's your primary thing, and it's true. The music is more important.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think we're
I actually agree with that.
Yeah, we're starting to understand that more and more lately because just like so many big artists are getting shrewder and shrewder with trying to do really eye-popping album artwork. You know what I mean? That I think people are kind of understanding how important the music needs to be nowadays too, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Anyway.
When you nail down an aesthetic, though, it's important to hang on to that.
Yeah.
You have to be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, questions.
Puffin Bill Grooves, again, great question. Got to compliment you. Favorite video game soundtrack?
The Half-Life series has to be. It's a huge inspiration for me.
Hmm.
Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2. Soundtrack is absolutely incredible. I'm praying for Half-Life 3 to come out this year. I think it's gonna happen. I'm coping hard.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, I don't think we've ever talked video games before, so that's cool to know.
Oh yeah. You know, Gary, I have 3,000 hours plus in Gary's mod.
In Gary's mod,
That was
I can see that.
absolutely critical for me as a child.
So you're like a shooter guy, FPS type.
Oh
guy.
yeah.
I got
I mean,
you.
I fuck with a lot of games. You know, I've been recently playing the remakes of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh no
absolutely
shit! I didn't know
incredible.
that. I love Final
absolutely
Fantasy VII
So
remake.
great. I'm still on the first part of the remake. I'm gonna get the next one soon.
Oh.
I need some more time, but
Of the first remake or Rebirth?
yeah, I'm playing the first remake, and then
Okay.
once I'm done with that, I'll go to the next one.
Man, I want a live feed, like live tweet, front row seat to your experience. So
It's been great
please.
so far. I wish Cloud would man up and actually get a wife, but
Yeah. Yeah, true. Cloud needs some bitches.
He has the whole roster.
He has a whole roster. Yeah, true. keep the questions coming, you guys. Until we get some more, let me ask you, what is your favorite live show that you've attended?
Good question.
Ooh, Justice was absolutely incredible. My first live show that I've ever been to was Mark Rebier before the pandemic.
Okay.
And there's something about him that really inspires me. He does everything on the spot. I can't really do that, but I kind of try to channel that energy.
That was a
into my
lot of
live
fun.
shows.
I bet that was a really fun show.
Absolutely incredible. I saw him recently.
I've seen
too.
footage of his shows. They look incredible.
Oh, he's absolutely great. He's like borderline naked the whole show. I don't blame
Oh,
him.
he's in his bathrobe. He's a
Yeah.
man. It looks like he's got like the whole audience going crazy. Though he's a showman. That's
Oh yeah.
yeah, not a bad person to aspire to when it comes to on-stage energy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I could see that. Hydroplaned into a false reality would like to know what your favorite drum break is.
I think my favorite drum break is the think break. You can't go wrong with that. It goes like, has like the spoons going on, a lot of highs. I mean, you can't go wrong with any drum break. But that's just personally my favorite. Another one of my favorite drum breaks. It doesn't have a name, but it is one of the George Clanton breaks, and I used it in Southside quite a bit, and I'm gonna be using it. I'm gonna be using and abusing it on a lot of new songs. But it's just that down tempo, like boom,
Yeah.
very crude recreation, but it's just like absolutely incredible.
Respect. I love how certain genres of music are basically completely based around the type of drums that they use. Like all the melody and the synth pads and the sound palette and everything can be the complete same, but if it's 4 on the floor or if there's breaks or if there's a trap beat, it just like completely changes. It's wild.
Shout out Fetty Wap.
Not sure how I feel about that, actually.
About what?
About the fact that you can take the same song, you could put a trap beat, a 4 on the floor beat, a break beat, or you could do the synth wave, kick, snare, and it just changes the song. The beat itself just changes the song.
Change the atmosphere, the way it
Yeah.
feels.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like that's to me is wild,
True, that's crazy.
This one artist, I think it was, I want to say it was Agony OST, did a bunch of versions of the same song with like a 4 on the floor beat, breaks beat, and it was just wild. Yeah. I'm rambling. Got some questions in chat now. Archangel would like to know, do you have any advice for up-and-coming artists?
My advice is, I've said this throughout this whole episode, but just be genuine. Go out to events, make connections, be a good person. Don't be weird, don't be creepy, don't be overbearing.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. Go out and make friends. That's the best way you can put yourself out there as an up and coming artist for sure.
That's good advice.
It is good advice. Just
it's really
be
good
the
advice.
kind of people
Really
you would want to
simple,
hang
and
around
that's what
with.
you need. That's how it is. Yeah. Oh, be the kind of people you want to hang around with. That's good.
Yeah, come hang out with us at I2K.
There you go.
There's plenty of room.
Buy a t-shirt while you're there.
Yeah, get a t-shirt, buy some drinks.
Right. Just open your own tab.
Yeah, don't put it on mine. That happened to me at Econ 4.
Oh, God.
Yeah, don't do that. Moving right along, Ed Jr. Morpheus 95. Van Gogh, have you ever been in Hampton Roads?
I actually have not been to Hampton Roads. My friend used to do a lot of VCU house parties there, but I never ended up making it. It's a little far for me, but now I'm a little bit close to Richmond, so you never know. Also, shout out EDGR Morpheus. He's been a long time supporter of the vaporwave community, big stream especially, and
shout out
Edger Morpheus.
Edger.
He got some good tracks out there. Give him some love.
Okay,
Appreciate his enthusiasm always. Puffin Bill Grooves, what inspired Van Gogh fashion, other than the mask, I guess?
Oof. Well, I'm a big weeaboo. I don't know if that's an offensive term, but I actually met the person. I met the person who actually invented the term weeaboo at forgot the
That's unreal.
It was at the convention that Matt brought me to. It was,
Where?
It was in the Alexandria, DC area. Magfest.
Otakon?
Oh yeah, Magfest.
Oh, Magfest.
Yeah, I
Magfest.
actually met the individual who invented the term weeaboo.
Wow,
I'm a huge
that's
weeaboo.
unreal.
That's crazy. I didn't know someone
yeah.
invented that. I didn't know we could trace it back that far.
Yeah, no, it's actually so funny. And
That's crazy.
I've been into anime when it was not cool, when people used to bully people for watching it.
Yeah.
I take a lot of inspiration from JoJo. JoJo has
Nice.
incredible
JoJo's Bizarre
fashion.
Adventure.
That's some flashy characters on JoJo.
Absolutely incredible, and like the classics, like Yu
Hakusho.
Hakusho. I'm really bad at pronouncing these words. But,
Yeah, me too.
Oshi no Ko, Evangelion. There's so many. I'm very inspired by Japanese fashion, and hopefully, come next October, I'll be able to go to Japan and possibly tour with the Bass House Boys.
That would be lovely.
Coming up in this year,
Badass.
it's gonna be fun.
If
Hopefully,
If you
I
don't
can
have a
make it out.
passport, get started. You're gonna need it like 3 or 4 months in advance.
Oh yeah, especially with the current economy.
Yeah.
I
Just make sure you can come back.
Yeah,
If you want to.
I might be stuck.
You might be stuck. Oh no, whatever shall we do?
Whatever shall we do?
Luxury
That's probably not the
Elite.
worst place.
Like to know, what do you look for? What do you look to, when you're searching for inspiration for your work?
Well, I listen to a lot of like indie. I never actually
Nice.
knew I was listening to Brother Tiger when I was actually listening to them.
Holy
But
fuck, I love Brother Tiger. It's a rule. We have
Brother
to talk
Tiger-
about him every episode.
Brother Tiger, Out of Touch,
Yes.
absolutely incredible.
We were talking about Brother Tiger the other week.
I'm gonna fucking invite him on the show. I don't give a shit. Teen Days said he would come on.
here.
I bet Brother Tiger will too.
He loves this. I mean, I love Brother Tiger too, but you were just shouting them out erect recently. I'm sorry.
I can't stop. I'm sorry.
Hey, Brother
that's good,
Tiger,
that's good.
I2K3 coming up. Hey,
I bet
But,
you, honestly, knowing you and Roge, I bet you'd get him.
I think it's possible. But I also listen to a lot of Memphis rap. Of course, I
Nice.
love sampling the vocals off Memphis rap, and I do something where I just listen to music on YouTube. I listen to music on YouTube when I'm driving to work, when I'm driving anywhere. I'm like, ooh, this is a cool sample. I could mess with this. Add it to the playlist. It's very organic with me. I don't like sit down after work like, okay, I'm gonna search for samples. I just do it in my
Right.
everyday life.
I love that. It just kind of happens I'm sorry, not ironically. It happens organically.
Organically,
It
yeah.
does.
It comes.
Yep. That's what I meant to say.
Oh yeah.
Nayoka Shoje would like to know, who is the sexiest person in Vaporwave?
Me, and let's see, probably Flangerphobia. He's pretty hot.
Flangerphobia.
Frank Javc.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's Matt, even though he's a little hairy.
Yeah.
If that's their thing. And I would say George is sexy, but he's kind of like a menacing sexy. Like he's like
He's
Yeah.
menacing, isn't he?
he's like he's gonna
One
corner
day
you
he'll
in the
snap
bathroom
and beat your
sexy.
ass.
He is menacing.
Well, we had a conversation in the Hot Take server about who would win in a fight between George Clanton and somebody else. I don't remember who it was. And
He would,
I
he
think
would
Luxury
absolutely
Noise, he was
beat
like,
anyone.
he's pretty tall, kind of wiry. My money's on George.
He would beat the shit out of Hong Kong Express. He would.
Yeah, probably.
He would RKO him into oblivion. We need to have a vaporwave wrestling match.
Yeah, you heard it on Hot Takes. Damn. All right.
Damn, son.
Juge, how'd they come up with the word weeaboo? He wants to hear about the story.
I knew someone was going to ask that eventually.
Well, it's a little hazy, but I know it was like a combination of words. There was like some sort of media that like kind of like slightly mentioned the phrase, but it wasn't like fully realized yet. And then he came up with the term early 2000s, and then I know someone else actually copyrighted the term.
What?
That wasn't him.
Copyrighted?
Yeah. It's a
crazy.
trademarked copyrighted
Do they
term
run
now.
a rave?
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah, we should do a weeaboo rave.
Yeah.
Like the vapor rave.
They just did one of those. There was somebody this group called Culture Crew just actually did a Weeboo rave in Philadelphia
Oh, yeah.
on Friday. They're good
Unreal.
people.
Vapor rave is actually trademarked.
There is.
What?
It is.
Yeah,
There's some
look it
pretty
up.
great crossover, honestly, between your local anime people and vaporwave party thrower type people.
Oh,
If you
absolutely.
find those people, they are down to clown, man. It's working really well for some people. Just saying,
Oh yeah. No, it's really good to draw out like a different crowd who might not actually be into the music, but they love the vibe, and a lot
They'll
of
be interested in the artistic expression that it provides.
Yeah, definitely
Oh, yeah.
interested enough,
Obviously, there's
and
all the future
open-minded
punk
enough.
crossover. And obviously, they're going to dance if you put on like night tempo or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
because-
If you throw some Sailor
Big
Moon
wave.
visuals up on the background, I mean, they're not going to be mad about that, right?
No, they're going to love all the future. There's like so much future funk. Obviously, it's in that. I mean, all of it practically.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's the Future Funk event that Fiber does. A lot of vaporwave anime influence in there.
True.
There's a lot of
We-
crossover.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's practically no big. All right, what's the next question?
Next question is from Roge Corp. Best mac and cheese you've ever had?
Oh,
Not yours.
Oh
Let's
man,
see,
he almost burned down an Airbnb for that. That's cold.
I was in that Airbnb. It was pretty smoky. No, Roge Corp mac and cheese is pretty good.
I would eat it.
it looks good. It looks good on the
I would
internet.
try it.
Yeah, it looks great on the internet.
I think Chick-fil-A mac and cheese is pretty good. I've had
Wow.
so much mac and cheese that I don't really know. Is the
Wow.
best. That's my opinion.
You got to
mac and
make
cheese
some
is pretty
yourself.
good.
If you make
Yeah.
some yourself and you make it really good, like you're gonna immediately be a fan of your own creation.
Yeah,
So
the
proud of
craft
yourself.
the craft premium mac and cheese shells are pretty good. I like those.
Interesting. I'm
All right, we
Order
we
some.
just had a big
Alright.
surge of questions. We got 10 minutes
Oh
to get
boy!
through them.
All right, let's go. Let's
So
go.
first one. Ooh boy, Cyan Blue. These
Oh,
questions
boy,
ain't
Cyan
hot
Blue.
enough. He said they ain't hot enough. Who is the laziest vaporwave producer?
OSCOB. Next question.
Ooh. Yeah, you're right. All right, next question. Frezwave. Who do you main in Smash Bros?
Meta Knight. I like the cheese with the spin move.
Hard. Man, I haven't played Smash Bros in ages. I'm probably real rusty, but I used to play Samus.
I fuck with it. That's valid.
Hydroplane into a false reality would like to know your thoughts on the Sound Goodizer plugin.
Put 5 of them on your master chain and it'll instantly sound good.
Steven Savag, Van Gogh, what's your favorite genre of food?
Japanese izakaya.
Okay, so
So
what
we-
makes it Izakaya?
Beer.
Okay.
And good food.
Hard.
Okay.
I do
Cool.
fuck with some Japanese food, but I'm down to be educated. I would not call myself a knowledgeable, like purist or anything like that.
Korean barbecue is also really good.
Oh, I love Korean barbecue.
It is. Korean barbecue is one of those things you get. Yeah, bulgogi.
Oof.
Yeah. Damn. Can't wait for my first cheat day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're pulling yourself on a diet right now?
I
sir?
am. I'm avoiding sugar and carbs right now. So.
Oh,
at
good
some
for you,
point-
man.
Yeah. It's hard, but it's working.
What are you drinking? Do you drinking things with sugar and carbs in them?
No. I drink water and I do drink sugar-free Red Bull like you,
Nice.
And then whenever
Nice.
I want
That's
to have a
good.
good time, I drink seltzers. There's a brand
Oh,
called
wow.
Mighty
there
Swell.
You go, man. That's a big
Texas-based
that's how you
brand.
lose a lot of weight. When you get rid of the drinks that have the calories in them, it makes a
Yeah.
tremendous difference.
Someday, man.
Club tails are pretty cool. I like club tails.
Club tails, okay. Is that non-alcoholic?
Oh no, there's a lot of alcohol in it.
A lot of good stuff. Nice.
Oh no.
12%.
Steven-
Oh, no, sir. There's a lot of alcohol.
Steven Savag would like to know if you like sushi.
Oh, I love sushi. One of my favorite foods. I know
too. Do
some
you like
people
poke?
don't like raw.
I love sushi.
I love
I eat
poke.
sushi every day.
Poke is my
Poke's good.
favorite.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she
I
doesn't.
love
she doesn't
poke
like raw
bowls,
food
man.
at all.
Amazing. Wait.
Yeah, my girlfriend Tori, she hates raw food. I know she's watching right now.
You know what?
Sushi is great.
Valid. It took a minute for
Everyone
me.
should try it. I love raw food. Like I love raw
Has
food. What's
she
the,
has she tried it?
I don't think she ever will. She has a bit of
Tori,
a food
if you
thing,
just
but
try it,
that's
I was the same way.
Ah.
If you just try it, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
she'll never.
No, she won't.
It's okay. Valid.
I love raw meat. I love like beef tartare and stuff too. That's great.
Oh, I've never.
Yeah,
had
no.
that.
If I ever go to
That's
Japan with
the
Tori,
raw beef.
yeah, if I ever go to Japan with Tori, we're gonna have to be in a 5-mile radius of McDonald's. Yeah.
Well,
Oh
they probably will have one
no!
there.
Boom
You know
roasted.
Yeah, I mean,
she's delightful, by the way.
I bet the Japanese McDonald's is incredible.
I mean,
It-
apparently their KFC is incredible, but I mean, don't go over
Yeah,
there. and
they
eat
have
KFC, bro.
their Christmas icon is the Colonel actually in Japan.
Are
That's like
you
a big
serious?
thing in
Wow.
Japan is getting like Kentucky Fried Chicken for Christmas. Like he's like their Santa Claus.
That's
I'm serious. Like look it up.
You gotta leave some KFC out for him and some milk.
I think yeah. Gross. Chicken and fried chicken and milk. Oh
fried
no.
chicken. Yeah. Oh, I see
That
you've
feels like a
discovered
cursed
Jollibee.
combination.
Have you not been to
Jollibee, oh.
fucking Jollibee, dude? Like they'll have. Oh yeah, I
I
have
have
some
been to
spaghetti
Jollibee,
and some
yeah.
fried chicken and milk. I mean, let me
I-
not shit all over
No, I
Jollibee,
didn't
but
try
like,
that. I didn't know that. I've been to Jollibee. I did not know that.
it's
was
not
an
for
option.
us white people, dude.
I saw
Yes,
Speed
not.
eat the Jollibee chicken, and there's one near me, and I kind of want to go now.
Jollibee's great. I had it, I guess, a couple of years ago in New York.
I'm not
It's
a
good.
fan, dude, but you know,
Oh,
it's
really?
not probably not for me. No, fried chicken
Okay.
and spaghetti and milk in one. No.
Well, no, I mean just
Sounds
the
incredible.
chicken in general, not the milk. That's crazy.
Okay, the chicken's chicken's probably great. I don't know. It's been a
I'm not
fat minute.
I'm not drinking milk and eating pasta. I'm not drinking milk in general, really.
Fucking didn't they do that in Gummo?
Oh my
pretty sure
God,
they
they
did.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
You want to
no, that's-
recreate that
that's-
scene?
wow.
Maybe. Yeah,
No,
maybe not.
Nice reference. Nice reference.
Yeah. Well, we drove by the exit to Xenia, Ohio, last weekend. I
Really?
thought about texting you. Yeah.
Take a picture of it?
We pass it every time we go to Columbus. No, I thought about texting you, but I was like, it's a little played out.
No, it's never played out. Send me a picture of the Xenia, Ohio.
I will next time we go
next
up there.
time you go buy it. I would love that.
We love Ohio, only in Ohio. Actually,
We love that.
when my car got rammed into me and Roge's
no.
car in Lynchburg after I played a show, this random dude walked by. I was like, only in Ohio.
Oh,
Lynchburg,
weird.
Virginia. The fuck?
Oh my God, that's
Only in Ohio.
tough. I'm sorry that happened, bro. Like,
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's a funny
Yeah.
story though.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, we made it out. We
just like
survived.
all tragedies. Well, not all of them, but most tragedies. It's funny in hindsight.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
All right, what's the next question?
Couple more questions before we finish up. Puff and Bill Grooves, what's your favorite movie that isn't Minecraft or anime?
Yeah, it really narrowed it down. I'd say I like. This is pretty basic. I like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I like Inception, and I
Christopher
really
Nolan's pretty good.
I really love Old Boy. Old Boy. is a
Old Boy's
great
great.
movie.
Yeah.
Not the
Oh.
remake. Not
No,
the
no,
remake.
no, not the remake. We know. Absolutely agree. That's a great
I
movie.
didn't realize there even was one.
Oh, Spike Lee directed it.
Okay.
But it's
Spike
like
Lee directed the remake, and it's not good.
It's just unnecessary.
Okay. Yeah, fair. Hydroplane into a false reality. Best water brand.
Oh, yes.
This is a little
Tell me why it's
cheesy,
not
but
Polish Springs.
Polish Springs is goated. That was the official sponsor of Econ 3, but I like Fiji water a lot. It tastes good. It's too
I like
expensive.
Fiji as well.
I know there was like a bacteria
Wait, actually-
outbreak. There was like some sort of recall with Fiji water.
Oh, hard.
Uh-oh.
I'm still drinking it.
What? Oh, that's
Drinking it right now.
Yeah, I'll
Wish
take
me
it.
luck. I hope I survive.
You got it.
I am a tap water hoe.
Oh yeah, I drink
I'll
a lot
take
of
it.
tap water as well.
I do too.
Yeah,
But-
check your privilege.
I keep the Fiji waters in my fridge for when I have guests over, though. So, like, I like to give them bottles of water.
Oh yeah. Also, I used to go to this little place called Berkeley Springs. It's actually, I don't want to dox Matt, but that's where he's from.
Oh.
Damn.
And you can get free water. People bring a shit ton of jugs. I used to go with my dad to bring like 20 jugs, and
Whoa.
we went to this spring. And we filled up every couple months, and it's actually really great water. You can find it in the stores.
You can go to the spring and fill up just whatever.
That's
Yeah,
so
for free.
cool.
For free, absolutely
Oh
free.
wow.
Gosh.
She says George Washington's bathtub is there. I'll take
George
some George
Washington's
Washington's
bathtub.
bath water. That's my favorite
Yup.
water.
Wow.
I've yet to go there, but it's right next to the spring.
All right, one more question. What is the worst live show you've ever attended?
The worst live show I've ever attended is when me and Tori, my significant other, we went to an arcade bar in West Virginia, and there was some sort of like cover band, and they were playing absolute worst covers I've ever heard in my life. It was like the most hostile vibe I've ever felt at a place. There were like
Hostile.
all these like old head
Oh,
boomers
no.
sitting at the bar looking at us
Scary.
weird. I'm just there to get some drinks and play some pinball, but
Yeah,
absolutely awful.
terrible audience. Oh boy,
Awful.
good choice
Yikes.
for a bad show.
Makes a memory.
Oh yeah.
What track, album, or artist is your favorite example of your favorite genre?
I don't want to be too much of a writer here, but I really love George Clanton. I don't care what people say about him.
He's got
Absolutely
riz,
incredible
dude.
I
art,
love George. Big George supporter over here. That's me.
You know, and
Undeniably skilled.
Love Windows 96. Absolutely incredible. And I find a lot of inspiration from my friends. Like Ahero, Simple Syrup, Make Me Float is always on the rotation. Absolutely incredible album. Luxury Noise. All the people in this community are so absolutely talented.
The Van Gogh Simple Syrup Luxury Noise block at Sanctuary Live was just lightning in a bottle. Absolute flames.
Absolute incredible hour of Vaporwave Zero. It was incredible.
It was, man. It was a delightful night. It's time to go ahead and wrap up. It's already over. So we like to give this moment to you to, if you want to shout some more people out or kind of expound upon some of the shout outs. If you want to tell us what you got coming up, promote yourself, really just anything, you've got the floor.
Yeah, I just want to shout out. I've shouted out the majority of people I've wanted to shout out, but I want to just take a minute to really appreciate Crystal Eternal and Nostalgia Lounge. Absolutely
Yes.
incredible event. DG was the first time I was seeing them live. They really killed it. I want to see more of them.
So
DJ
many people
Cena.
loved Fiji. DJ Cena, party starter.
Absolutely incredible set. We need to get them out here to Virginia. And hey, I2K2 coming up.
Yup.
This
I2K2. Lux actually
Richmond,
dropped
Virginia.
the ticket link, so shout out Lux.
Hey, you're gonna have to come out. Like our boys Jumper Kim in Videodrome doing visuals, and we
Great
have
people.
we have some heavy hitters this year and some yet to be
Yeah,
announced
you
artists.
do.
We have Don McLennan, SM Skyline, Gloom Cult, which is absolutely incredible. I can't wait
That's
to see
crazy.
them live. Disco Holic, he always brings the vibes.
Love
DJ
that guy.
Camgirl with Vape Air and Stage Hardware, absolutely incredible. They always bring the energy. It's one of my favorite live sets from I2K last year. And our boy Ahero, he's gonna come out, and me and him are
Awesome.
gonna have a joint set. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. Picture plane, absolute
Yeah,
icon.
great pulls.
Keep an eye out. We're gonna have more acts coming, and we have some yet to be announced.
Yeah,
and
definitely keep your ear to the ground. You ain't seen nothing
out.
yet.
You ain't seen nothing. Keep an eye out. It's gonna be a great time. And if you can't make it out, be here in spirit. We're gonna try to get it live streamed. We're gonna try to have it out online while it's going. Last year we had a little bit of a live stream, but it wasn't that great. So hopefully, we'll have a better quality one this year. So even if you can't make it, you can enjoy the concert from the comforts of your home.
Hell yeah. Vincent Van Gogh, everybody. All
Thank
right.
you for having me.
Oh man, it's been delightful. I don't have a lot going on. Skelly, do you want to tell us what you have coming up?
Thursday, Terminally Chill. We're back at the Barbary. They reopened.
They're
the
back,
Barbary about a
baby.
couple weeks ago. They hit me up. They want me to reboot the party, so that's exactly what we're doing. I'm gonna have our old friend Bella Stardust is gonna co-DJ with me. Quiz is gonna do a special
Awesome.
set.
Quiz?
Barbary, yeah. The Barbary is reopened. They've redone the whole thing. It's full of all kinds of crazy lights and stuff. They asked me to come back and reboot the party, so that's what we're going to do. It's going to be insane. The Barbary is the hottest spot on the Northeast right now. They've reopened it. Every DJ, every promoter, every person is trying to get to play at the Barbary right now, to the point that our general manager, Gina's like, stop. You're only getting to play if we ask you to play. And I'm one of the few people they asked to come back and do it. So I don't know how crowded this thing is going to be, but I couldn't even get into the Barbary over the weekend. The line's getting way too long. This is a Thursday night party, so I don't. And it's barely even announced, so it shouldn't be too packed. But if you do want to go, I'm going to put a link for the tickets in the chat right here. If you want to get them in advance, you can get them over here. You can probably buy them at the door as well. But I mean, the Barbary's been fucking packed every day since this reopened. So I assume it's a vaporwave party. So I assume it should be normal, but who knows? I don't even know. It might get really packed in there. I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens.
Get your tickets.
And very honored to be one of the few people that is even allowed to perform or throw parties here right now. So get in there. It could be history making coming up. Don't know. We'll find out. I'll let you all know. And if it works, we'll do some more maybe. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
Please keep me apprised of that. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it. Permanently Chill. Let's go. Let's talk about that. That's all.
Very cool. I played last weekend with Van Gogh in Fiji and KJ Valium and some other lovely people in chat like Luxury Noise. Shit, so many people in chat. Simple Syrup. And some people who really surprised me, like local acts like Stevie Zevin. Anyways, Crystal Eternal put together Sanctuary Live in Columbus, Ohio, and I did a 40-minute breakcore set as Gay Luigi. I actually wore a Luigi suit and a trans flag cape. And other than the last track where I ate shit, I feel like I put my best foot forward, and I felt like I did a terrific job. So the footage is on YouTube, and the set itself is on SoundCloud. If you guys like stuff like Sewer Slut, Agony OST, Infract, there's actually a breaks flip of a Coldplay song. So check it out. And definitely check out that damn DJ Cena set. If you were ever a fan of like Sound Clown or like a Tony Hawk Pro DJ, check that shit out. It was great.
Oh yeah.
Spending a weekend with Luxury Noise and Raina was just incredibly. I needed it so bad. It was very validating, and it just gave me life. So check that shit out. As far as other Young Shiro stuff coming up, live stream events that haven't been announced yet, actual IRL events that haven't been announced yet. Actually, some that have been announced, you just don't know I'm on the lineup yet. So keep your ear to the ground. Big things coming. Want to remind everybody to vote for the next guest. Again, oops, didn't mean to make that air horn go off. Follow the link. Vote for the next guest. Your vote matters. And if you do vote, you may receive one of the 3 or 4 codes that we got generously from the person that developed the Vaporwave pinball app. Not app, sorry, the Vaporwave pinball game. There's Steam codes, so you got to get Steam. And I'll be sending those tonight or tomorrow. If you like hot takes, man, follow us. You can find us on most social media platforms. You can follow Skelly and I individually. You can check out our Hot Takes Volume 1 comp. You can buy a shirt designed by BFant. Let's see, what else? You can jump on our Discord server and make some friends. Oh, no, you might make some friends. What's the worst that could happen, right? And you can donate if the spirit moves you, and definitely check out our curated Spotify playlists. They're real playlists, algorithm, AI, whatever. These are curated by real people. Check them out. You might like it. And at the end of the day, if you're a fan, man, repost, show up, invite some people. You know, Hot Takes isn't going to go on forever. But we appreciate you, Van Gogh, for being willing to join us tonight. We handpicked you. So thank you for making our evening better.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
We
having me on.
appreciate, absolutely, buddy. We appreciate all you guys in the chat that are regulars and brand new viewers, and we especially appreciate our mods. And I'm inevitably forgetting something, but we're going to run the ad for I2K2 and Terminally Chill. And just, again, since I'm forgetting the things that I need to say, just vote for the next person and just make sure your voice is heard. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll announce who it's going to be at that time. Good night.